If you're ready now, the starting lineups tonight for the Montreal Expos. Leading off and playing second base, Dave Cash. Andre Dawson will play center field and bat second. Ellis Valentine will bat third. He'll play right field. Hitting fourth, first baseman Tony Perez. Larry Parrish will bat fifth and play third base. Hitting sixth, the left fielder Warren Cromartie. Gary Carter will catch and hit seventh. Batting eighth at shortstop, Chris Spire. And hitting ninth, the Montreal pitcher, right-hander Hal Dews. Again for the Expos, it's Cash at second, Dawson in center field, Valentine in right field. Perez at first, Parrish at third, Cromartie in left field. With Carter catching, Spire at short, and Dews pitching. For Cincinnati, Pete Rose will lead off and play third base. Ken Griffey will bat second and play right field. Joe Morgan will be at second base, batting third. In left field, the cleanup hitter, George Foster. Danny Dreesen will be at first base, batting fifth. Doing the catching, the number 6 batter, Johnny Bench. Kenny Henderson in center field hit seventh. Batting eighth at shortstop, Dave Concepcion. And hitting ninth and pitching for the Reds, right-hander Tom Seaver. Once more for Cincinnati tonight, it's Rose at third, Griffey in right field, Morgan at second base. Foster in left, Dreesen at first base, Bench catching. With Henderson in center, Concepcion at short, and Seaver on the mound. Joe, it'd be nice to wrap up this homestand with a 5th consecutive victory before heading out to Philadelphia tomorrow morning.
Well, Marty, the way we're playing, of course, there's no reason to believe that we can't. But I tell you, this young man pitching tonight with the Expos, we mentioned him in Montreal, that one appearance he's had against the Reds, that he was a very impressive young fellow. And if he pitches the way he has been pitching, I guess we could say, we might have a difficult time scoring runs, but hopefully we can put some on the board for Tom. He certainly is deserving of them. His last couple of times out, we haven't been able to score too many.
Well, we're ready to go as Dave Cash leads it off for the Expos, and Seaver's first pitch is inside for a ball, and this game is underway. Seaver has defeated Montreal 4 consecutive times since joining the Reds, including twice this season. He owns a lifetime record against the Expos of 16-8. The 1-0 to Cash is swung on and dribbled foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cash, a .276 batter with 2 homers and 21 RBIs. He said, "I'm pitching very well this season, going 12 for 35, including 3 singles and 5 times up last night." Riding a brief 4-game hitting streak that has seen him go 10 for 19. The 1-1 is on the way, and that's swung on and grounded to the left side. Concepcion has it, and his throw to first base is in plenty of time to get Dave Cash for the game's first out. That'll bring up center fielder Andre Dawson. Dawson hitting .247 with 14 homers and 45 runs batted in. And a wild and woolly one here last night. In case you missed it, the Reds trailed 6-0 at the end of 3.5 innings, but behind the 2-home-run performance of George Foster, the Reds came back to tie it up and then won it with 2 runs in the 8th inning off Stan Bonson. Dawson, a right-hand batter. The pitch to him from Seaver is on the outside part of the plate for a taken strike. Tom trying to break a personal 3-game losing streak. He was 1-4 at one time, then won 7 in a row, but since then has dropped 4 of his last 5 decisions. Here's a grounder foul off to the left, and the count goes to 2 strikes. In 2 of the last 3 losses that he has suffered, Tom has certainly pitched well enough to win. The Dodgers beat him on the 1st of this month, 2-0. He gave up 6 hits and 2 runs in a root-going performance. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Steve Garvey hit a home run in that game to beat him, and then in the first game of a twin bill here on the 7th against the Giants, did not pitch well at all, giving up 5 runs, 4 earned on 7 hits in 5 innings. High inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. In that game, he served up home runs to Willie McCovey and Darrell Evans, but his last time out, 5 days ago against the Mets, in a 4-2 loss, the defense beat him. A couple of errors led the way to 2 unearned New York runs among the 3 that Seaver gave up. Here's a chopper out in front of the mound. Seaver comes up, and his hard throw to Dreesen is just in time to get the speedy Dawson. 2 away. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Two down, Montreal, first inning. Cash has bounced to short. Dawson a comebacker to the mound. Here's right fielder Ellis Valentine. Floated a 2-run home run and a 3-run first last night. 310 hitter. He checks his swing, and that's strike one call. Valentine leading the club in batting average, home runs with 16, RBIs with 54. He's having a fine year. That one misses and goes all the way back to the screen as Seaver tried to keep the ball out away from him. In our infield tonight, we've got Dreesen at first, Morgan at second, Concepcion at short, and Rose at third. The outfield has Foster left, Henderson center, Griffey in right, and Johnny Bench behind the plate. Seaver 1-1 to Valentine. Swing at a miss, strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outfield shading Valentine a bit around toward right. Foster pulled well off the line and shading the power alley in left center field for him. Blowing away, and again it skips by catcher Johnny Bench. And an even up count to Valentine at 2-2. Tony Perez is on deck. Reds have run off 4 wins in a row, and they have taken 10 of their last 14. And a win tonight would get them to within a game and a half of the San Francisco Giants, who played and lost in 11 innings to the Chicago Cubs this afternoon, 7-6. Bruce Sutter picked up the victory for Herman Frank's club. Charlie Williams took the loss. Tom Reddy with a 2-2. Valentine, a broken bat liner that Concepcion makes a grab on, and that's the inning. For the Expos, 3 up and 3 down. And after a half inning of play in this series and homestand wrap-up, Montreal nothing, and the Reds are coming to bat.
Here's some straight talk from Heathkit Electronics at 2500 Morse Road. Heathkit is the largest manufacturer of electronic kits. Not toys, but high-quality units that compare with the finest made. Heathkit features a full line of audio components, the finest television to be found anywhere, full line of amateur radio equipment, test equipment and instrumentation for the service, bench, and lab, PA systems, instrument amplifiers, and speaker systems, and automobile accessories from digital clocks to service test equipment. And for the boating buff, Heathkit carries radio telephones, fish spotters, direction finders, and depth sounders. Heathkit at 2500 Morse Road. Opens Tuesday through Saturday at 9:30. Call 475-7200 and order your free catalog. Tell them WRMZ sent you. That's 475-7200. Heathkit.
After the Expos are retired in order, we move to the home first inning, and the Reds will be batting off of right-hander Hal Dews, a 23-year-old from Lamarck, Texas. Hal now makes his home in Dickinson, Texas. 6'3", 190-pound right-hander. Signed on with Montreal as a free agent 4 years ago and came up for his first taste of big league action last year when he won his major league debut on the 9th of September against the Pirates at Pittsburgh. He's 3-4 this season, having made 9 starts with a complete game and a fine 2.54 earned run average. Earlier this season, he worked 3 2/3 innings in relief against us, giving up 3 hits but no runs. And this young man has been outstanding so far since moving in to replace Rudy May in the Montreal pitching rotation. Pete Rose, hoping to extend his hitting streak to 31 games. The 30 consecutive games he's hit in is already the longest in the league since Rico Carty's 31-gamer in 1970. First pitch to Pete is an off-speed delivery that comes in above the head for a ball. Rose batting .304. Here's a 1-0 to the plate, and he swings and bounces it foul at home plate. 1-1. Rose 10 for 32 against the Expos with a couple of RBIs last night. In what has been, to some degree, a pattern of late. He went hitless the first couple of times up, but then rifled a hard single into right field in the 5th inning. That was the frame in which the Reds came up with 4 runs to tie the game at 6-6. Swung on, drive, left center field. Well hit. They'll not get that one. Cromartie has the ball skip by him. Pete's coming to second base with a double, and that's 31 in a row. We have said it before, but we'll say it again. The man is amazing. "31 consecutive games. And he does it on the 3rd pitch thrown to him, a double in the power alley in left center. So now the fans can settle back and enjoy the ball game, because I promise you the tension is now starting to mount a little bit on Pete. He is 6 games now away from tying the National League record set back some 33 years ago by Boston Brave Tommy Holmes. So Rose is at second, and Ken Griffey is the Cincinnati batter. Dews checks Pete at second, delivers to the plate. Griffey swings and he misses. Griffey hitting .302 with 2 homers and 27 RBIs on the year. Babyface right-hander comes set, and the strike one pitch is just low and inside as the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. While Rose leads the league in hitting now with a total of 117. Griffey is second with 111. George Foster is in 5th place with 107. He's tied with San Francisco's Jack Clark. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Here's the swing and a fly ball to left. Cromartie drifting back. Rose goes to second base to tag. He starts back toward third, but puts on the brakes as Cromartie's throw is taken by shortstop Chris Spire. 1 away. So with 1 out, following the Rose double, Morgan steps in. In the Montreal defense tonight, they've got Perez at first, Cash at second, Spire the shortstop, Parrish at third base. Cromartie, who just caught Griffey's fly ball, is in left, with Dawson in center and Valentine in right. Carter does the catching. 1 out, 1 on. Morgan with a 7-game hitting streak. He's batting .264 on the year. Drove in 2 runs last night and now has knocked in 54 on the season. He takes the pitch in on him for a ball. With all the games that Joe has missed because of the multitude of little nagging injuries this season, still he is second on the team in RBIs behind Foster's league-leading total of 71. And George is on deck. High, 2 balls and no strikes. Dews has been touched for an inning-opening double to left center by Rose. He's gotten Griffey on a fly ball left. And he's behind a Morgan at 2-0. Joe waving the bat around, now waiting. The pitch swung on and popped straight back and out of play. 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike on Morgan. Dews looking back at second, wheels and deals, and the pitch is swung on, popped up, back of third in foul territory. Parrish going over to the Montreal bullpen. He's got to play on the ball, and he makes it for out number 2. Oh, Al Dews battling to get out of the first inning unscathed, but he's going to have to face a hot-hitting George Foster right now. Foster hitting 2 home runs in a game for the first time this season last night. And they moved him into a league tie with Philadelphia's Greg Lucinski. Both have struck a total of 21. And the RBI figure of 71 gives him a lead of 4 over Jack Clark. A chance to pick up run batted in number 72 right here if he can base hit Hal Dews. Foster in, out, in, out. And now back in again. Here's a pitch to the plate, and it's on the inside corner for a strike. Well, we've gotten an update on what Jack Clark did today in Chicago. He knocked in 4 of the Giants' 6 runs in their 7-6 loss, so he and Foster are once again tied for RBI leadership with 71 apiece. Here's a bouncer third baseline. Up with the ball is Parrish, and his long throw to Perez gets George, and that ends the inning. So we waste a leadoff double by Rose. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And after 1 complete, the Reds nothing, the Expos nothing.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. Everybody knows it's the beer lover's beer. It's family brew. For over 200 years, real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a Stroh's. Stroh's for the real beer lover. Stroh's tastes like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another. Stroh's. Stroh's. The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, tonight's game closes out the current homestand for the Reds here at Riverfront. We'll be home a week from Friday for the start of a big weekend series with Philadelphia. Twilight doubleheader on Friday, July 28th, and then afternoon games on Saturday the 29th and Sunday, July 30th. Tony Perez steps in to lead off the top of the second for the Expos. No score in the game. The first pitch is in for a strike. After a short 3-game road trip to Atlanta, the Reds will then come back to Riverfront for a weekend series against the Padres, followed by 3 weeknight games with the Atlanta Braves. 1 ball and 1 strike on Perez. So we invite you to check out the schedule and make plans to be on hand, and be sure to purchase your tickets in advance. Perez with a 1-1 count, the pitch, swing and a miss on a pitch away. Tony had a big night here last night. 4 hits to raise his average to 297. 4 RBIs to give him 51 and his 8th home run. He has been on some kind of tear of late. Seaver has him in a hole, and Perez fouls it back. It's one of those rebound jobs that come into the broadcast booth and then kick right back out again.
Oh, Don knew it.
They go into our engineer's booth. I wasn't looking where the ball went. That's why I posed the question. Count holding at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Perez, with Seaver taking too much time, steps out of the batter's box. Larry Parrish on deck. He'll be followed by Warren Cromartie. Tom got Cash on a ground out to short. Dawson on a bouncing ball back to the mound, and Valentine on a soft line out to Concepcion in the first inning. Perez climbs back in as Johnny Bent sends out the sign, and the right-hander Seaver sends in the pitch. Here's a fly ball hit back into right center field. Ken Griffey, short of the warning track, camps under it and makes the catch. 1 gone. The winning banner in this year's Banner Day competition is now on display at Burkhart's Men's Store on 4th Street in downtown Cincinnati. It's a real beauty, and it was done by Marita Schaefer from Fairfield and Monica Strait from Hamilton. The next time you're in downtown Cincinnati, stop by Burkhart's and take a look at the banner. Larry Parrish, the Expos third baseman, swings at a good high fastball and doesn't get it. Parrish batting .265, 10 homers and 43 RBIs. That's high, and the count evens at 1. Seaver to the wind, a pitch. Parrish bounces it to third base, but it's a foul ball. After the game tonight, Montreal will be flying home to entertain the Atlanta Braves in a 3-game series. It'll kick off with a doubleheader tomorrow night, a single game on Thursday, and then the Reds will be coming in Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoons for Cincinnati, the second leg of the 3-city road trip. Pitch is low. It's 2-2. We'll open up in Philadelphia tomorrow night, and it'll be Steve Carlton for the Phillies against Paul Moscow. Thursday, Tommy Hume will oppose Jim Cott, so we'll be seeing 2 left-handers in Philadelphia. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with a high hard one. First strikeout for Tom, and for the man who ranks 3rd in the National League in strikeouts. That's his 119th on the year. Richard of Houston leads the league with 167. And Necro of Atlanta is second at 129. 2 gone for left-handed batting Warren Cromartie. That's Davidson, our plate umpire, with Joe West, John Kibler, and Nick Colosi working the bases at first, second, and third. Ball 1. We are scoreless in the second. Seaver has retired the first 5 batters to face him. Check swing, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. They say Cromartie, who had serious defensive deficiencies last year, has really worked hard and has noticeably improved himself in left field. He's a pitch away from getting a walk as Tom comes high, ball 3. Gary Carter would be up next if Cromartie should reach with 2 away. 3 balls and no strikes. They turn him loose, and he swings and misses. 3-1. Now the 3-1 pitch. That's fouled off the third base line and out of play, so Seavers come back to run the count full on Warren Cromartie at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's a payoff pitch, and he fouls this one out of play to the left. We'll be into Philadelphia for the second and final time during regular season play tomorrow night. Be on the air at 7:05 Cincinnati time with a pregame shows. Game time at 7:35 from Veterans Stadium. Fly ball, center field. Henderson breaking back to his left, and he gathers it in to end the inning. For the second straight frame, the Expos go down in order, nothing across, and thus in the middle of the second, the Reds nothing and the Expos nothing.
Look what's cooking at Con. A great taste treat called Reds Rookies. That's what's cooking at Con. That's right, Mom. There's always something cooking at Con, like new Reds Rookies, the pre-cooked smoked sausage links. You know how good Big Red Smokies are, right? Well, new Reds Rookies are exactly the same, only smaller. Sometimes you'll like to use Big Red Smokies, and sometimes you'll prefer Reds Rookies. Either way, the flavor is just great. Have it for breakfast with pancakes and eggs. Put some punch in your lunch. And for dinner, a Reds Rookies casserole with macaroni and cheese is delicious. Reds Rookies make super party snacks, too. Get them at your favorite store now. Big Red Smokies or the new, smaller Reds Rookies. A great tasty called Reds Rookies. That's what's cooking at Con.
Remember, you can depend on Cons.
Well, the pennant race is heating up in the National League West, and right now is the time to make your plans to get in on all the action. 30 more home dates remain on the Red schedule. Pick out the games you want to see, then order tickets the easy way, in advance by mail. Box seats are $5, reserved seats $4. Send your check or money order payable to Cincinnati Reds, Box 1970 Cincinnati. Please include 50 cents with each order for postage and handling. We move on to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Danny Dreesen to start things off for Cincinnati. Dreesen batting .294 with 10 homers and 50 runs batted in. And the pitch from Hal Dews is taken for a strike. Danny did not start in last night's game, although he did get in late. He was nicked on the elbow by a pitch from Kevin Coble, again, the New York Mets here on Sunday. 1 ball and 1 strike as Dews comes high with a fastball. 1-1 the count on Dreesen with Bench and Henderson to follow here in the bottom half of the second. Way high on a breaking ball, 2-1. Dews has been an outstanding road pitcher this season. All 3 of his victories have come away from Olympic Stadium. Swing and a miss. He's won 3 of his last 4 decisions, and 2 have been combined shutouts over the Mets and the Pirates. His only complete game came on the 8th of July against Philadelphia, 8-1 at Veterans Stadium. Full count to Danny. He lost to the Phillies 1-0 in Montreal. Only loss in his last 5 starts. Here's a dribbler foul toward Bench in the on-deck circle. So Montreal likes the way this guy has come along as a starting pitcher, and certainly with his record away from home this season, we have to look for a pretty good one tonight. Payoff pitch. That's ball 4 just low. Dreesen is on with a leadoff walk, and we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is yours on Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, the home of the Reds for Central Ohio.
Danny Dreesen has started off the second with a base on balls, bringing Johnny Bench up to the plate. John batting .246, and that average has been climbing steadily. Dreesen running, pitches foul back. Danny on the move on Dew's first pitch to bench, and John fouls it away. Strike one. Bench has had 2 hits in 4 of the 5 games since the All-Star break, and in the only game that he went hitless in, he walked twice and scored both times. So he has really been contributing. There's a throw to first. Infield looking for the ground ball with Dreesen leading at first base. A strike one pitch coming to bench. John takes it high and inside. 1-1. Checking now with third base coach Alex Grammas. Now Field bunching the power alleys on bench and giving him a lot of room on the line. There's another throw to Tony Perez as Dreesen moves back in. And a leadoff double from Rose in the first inning, but Dews retired the next 3 hitters. Bench grounds hard to third. Backhanded by Parrish. He throws on to Cash, and that's all they're going to get. Nice play by Larry Parrish deep behind the third base bag, and he came up firing to Dave Cash to force Danny Dreesen. Dave really made the most of a low throw. He had to go down and dig it out. That was a big thing that eliminated any chance they might have had of getting a double play. So with Bench a new runner at first, Dreesen's forced at second. Here's Ken Henderson. Henderson batting .255 with a home run and 7 RBIs. He takes a pitch low. Started Sunday against the Mets and had a big day with 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double to knock in 3 runs last night. Was 1 for 3 officially and also walked 1 time. Swung on and hammered hard to right, but Valentine is there and he makes a catch. Kenny hit that ball right on the money, but with the misfortune of hitting it directly at the right fielder. So with 2 away, here's Davey Concepcion in. Stop by the Reds ticket agency nearest you and purchase your tickets in advance in Athens, Ohio at the Audio Buff, in Salina, Ohio at the Style Shop, in Newcastle, Indiana at Rose City Bowl, in Columbus, Indiana at Hoosier Sporting Goods, and in Huntington, West Virginia at Southside Pharmacy. Davey with 2 down, Johnny Bench at first in a scoreless game in the second. David with 4 hits Sunday afternoon, including his 3rd home run of the season. And the opener here against the Expos last night went 1 for 4. He's batting .293. In at the knees for a call strike from Dews. Swing and a miss. Davey behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Tom Seaver kneeling in the on-deck circle. Dews into his stretch motion, and he delivers. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on 3 pitches. The first strikeout of the game for the Montreal pitcher. And in the second for the Reds, no runs, no hits, and 1 left. At the end of 2, Cincinnati nothing and Montreal nothing.
When you want to know the ones you love and the things you love will always be secure. Make friends with tomorrow. Range Insurance, to be sure.
Every business executive tries to hedge against inflation. Many succeed by purchasing real estate. Your Grange agent offers this caution. As real estate values increase, so should insurance coverage. Homes purchased for $30,000 a few years back now may sell in the 60s. Unfortunately, some owners have not added extra insurance coverage. This could be bad news in the event of a heavy loss. So make friends with tomorrow. Guard against inflation today. Call your nearest Grange agent.
There's nothing like the feeling that you get when you know you're safe now and secure. Protected by Grange Mutual. Grange Insurance, to be sure.
Well, at the end of 2 quick innings of baseball, neither team has scored, and Seaver will be facing the bottom third of the Montreal order here in the 3rd inning. Here to call the play-by-play for you, Joe Nuxall.
Thank you, Marty. Carter, Spire, and Dews in the third for the Expos. Gary Carter, a .237 batting average. He's hit 10 home runs, driven in 40 with 13 doubles and a triple. Tom Seaver has struck out 1. He's retired 6 straight. His first pitch to Carter swung on and missed a breaking ball. Tom looking for his 10th win of the year and his 17th career win over the Expos. Marty pointed out Tom has beaten him 4 straight times, twice this year. Seaver the 0-1. Carter takes it high, a fastball, 1-1 to count. Cubs beating the Giants this afternoon in 11, 7-6 at Wrigley Field. 1-1 delivery. That's on the outside corner. Called strike, breaking pitch. 1-2 to Gary Carter. Chris Spire on deck, and then it'll be pitcher Hal Dews. Seaver looking to bench. Has the sign. And the 1-2. Curveball swung on and missed, and that's the second strikeout for Seaver. 1 away, and the batter, Chris Spire. Tom now with 120 strikeouts on the year. Spire a .248 batting average, 3 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 9 doubles and a triple. Spire, a right-handed batter. Seaver works, and Chris takes high, fastball. The 1-0 delivery. Strike called. Slider gets the outside corner at the belt. 1-1. Tom back to the plate. Spire takes strike 2. Fastball this time on the outside corner. A ball, 2 strikes to count to Chris Spire. Tom has the sign. Winds and delivers. High and outside. Fastball. Count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pirates leading the Dodgers 1-0 after 3 at Pittsburgh. Seaver the 2-2. Swung on, chopped foul. One other game underway in the National League. After 2 innings at Atlanta, the Braves leading the New York Mets 1-0. Two and 2 the count. 1 out. Bases empty. Seaver winds and delivers. Spire swings and misses. 3 strikeouts. Foul tip into the mid of Johnny Bench. Well, 2 away, and pitcher Hal Dews steps in. Dews hitting 174. Right-handed batter Hal. Tom Seaver has gotten 3 strikeouts, 2 of them on fastballs, the other on a curveball. You got Carter with a curveball, and Parrish and Spire on fastballs. Pitch to Dews, low and outside a ball. One-0 pitch, swung on and missed. 1-1. Tom right now throwing as good as you'll ever want to see him throw. Here's the 1-1. Outside with a fastball. 2 balls a strike. Bench hangs the sign. And the 2-1. Swung on, and a soft 1 bouncer knocked down by Dreesen. He underhands receiver, and Tom drops the ball. Not a good toss by Danny. Little high, but Tom should have handled it, and that'll be an error charge to Tom Seaver. Well, Hal Dews becomes the first base runner of the game for the Expos on the error by Danny Dreesen. That'll bring Dave Cash to the plate. Cash grounded to Concepcion leading off the game. Dave, a .276 batting average with a couple of home runs and 21 RBIs. Seaver the stretch. Dreesen playing behind Dews. The pitch. That's low and outside a ball. I think Tom wanted that one. I'm asking Sats Davidson if the pitch was low. Cash looked like he wanted to bunt the ball. 1-0 delivery, and Cash again bluffs the bunt, and it's ball 2, low and outside. 2-0 the count. Hughes at first base with 2 out. Dreesen playing a step behind him. Tom to the belt, his pitch. That's high. 3 balls, no strike. Andre Dawson on deck. Receiver ready. Here's the 3-0. Cash takes ball 4, low and outside, so he walks Dave Cash on 4 straight pitches out of the strike zone. First walk by Seaver. And with 2 away, runners at first and second, Andre Dawson the batter. Dawson tapped just to the left of the mound. Seaver fielding it and throwing him out in the first inning. Andre hitting .247, 14 home runs, 45 RBIs. Expos as a team have hit 70 home runs on the year, and that's 2 behind the Reds, who have 72. Seaver the stretch, looks back at Dews, delivers, and a fastball for a called strike. Another good crowd tonight here at Riverfront. 38,000 plus last night, and every bit of that tonight. 8,000 straight A students with us. The 0-1. 0-1 outside, slider. Count evens, a ball, a strike. Tom with a .322 earned run average. Seaver shakes off the sign. And the 1-1. Swung on, hit well to right field. Griffey going back, and he'll play that one off the wall. 1 run scores. Cash to third. He's being waved in. Now is held up, and the run scores. So, after being out of the inning, so to speak, the Expos come back and score a run. Not an unearned run, but a run, and the Expos take a 1-0 lead. A double for Andre Dawson, his 8th of the year, and his 46th RBI. Cash at third base, Dawson at second. We're still 2 away, and Ellis Valentine the batter. Valentine, a soft liner to Concepcion at the end of first inning. So Dawson hit that one well off the fence in deep right field, right, very near the 375 mark. Seaver delivers, and it's flowing outside. A slider, ball 1. On the 1-0. Valentine bunts fair, and bench out on it. Bare hands, throws, got him. Good play by John. Up the third baseline, he grabbed the ball barehanded and threw Valentine out by a step. That's the inning, but the Expos got a run on 1 hit, 1 Cincinnati error, 2 runners left on base, and it's the middle of the third. Montreal 1, Cincinnati 0.
Starting July 30th, the Red Rooters Club is sponsoring a fabulous 14-day tour to 3 Hawaiian islands and San Diego. In Honolulu, you'll take the fascinating Circle Island tour and visit historic Pearl Harbor. You'll also enjoy the magnificent Polynesian Cultural Center and attend a fabulous dinner show. Then it's on to Maui for 3 nights, where you'll enjoy the Lau Valley Tour and a special beach steak fry. Next, it's Kauai with hotel accommodations for 3 nights, a tour of Waimea Canyon, and the Fern Grotto River Cruise. Your Hawaiian trip will be topped off with an Hawaiian barbecue. And your return will take you to San Diego for 2 games with our Reds and the Padres, with hotel accommodations for 3 nights, plus a sightseeing tour of Balboa Park and other points of interest, and a fabulous dinner at a famous restaurant. For complete details on this fantastic trip, call the Barney Rapp Agency at 513-381-7277. 381-7277. We at Stroh's hope you can make it. It'll be great, just like Stroh's beer.
Well, the Reds trail the Expos 1-0 as they bat in the bottom half of the third inning. Tom Seaver, Pete Rose, and Ken Griffey do. Tom hitting .135 with a couple of RBIs and a double. The Expos getting an unearned run in the third after Carter and Spire struck out. Dews reached on an error by Tom Seaver. A walk to Cash and a double by Dawson. Reds with one hit off Dews, and that was Pete Rose. Lead-off double to extend his hitting streak to 31 straight games. Pete's 27th double of the year. Dews winds and delivers, and Seaver takes a strike on the outside corner. Al Dews, his 10th start of the year. The 0-1. Seaver looks at it, a breaking ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The wind, the 1-1. That's high. 2-1 the count. Dews has struck out 1, has walked 1. He walked Dreesen leading off the second and struck Concepcion out to end the second. Here's the 2-1 to Seaver. That's in for a called strike, a fastball. 2-2. The 2-2. Swung on, 2 bouncer. Dave Cash at second has it. On to Perez, 1 out. That'll bring Pete Rose to the plate, and as we mentioned, Pete extended his hitting streak to 31 in the first inning with a double to left center field. Pete hitting .304, and I tell you what, he has his eyes set on the batting title again. Pete mentioning the leader hitting .319. Hughes delivers and Rose swings and misses. Pete with that double has one behind Tony Perez, who is in second place in the National League with 28. Ted Simmons leads with 31. Rose swings and a line drive under the glove of Cash into the right center field. Dawson playing it back to the infield, and Pete has his second hit of the ball game. Cash went over to backhand, but the ball scooted under his glove and on into right center. Rose at first base with his second hit, and Ken Griffey the batter. Reds have had 2 hits, both of them by Pete Rose. Griff in the first inning, a fly ball to Cromartie in left field. Expos leading 1-0. Dews to the belt, checks Rose, throws over there, and Pete steps back. Dews again the stretch. And delivers. Griffey swings and grounds it hard but foul to the Cincinnati dugout off the railing and on out into right field, where Ellis Valentine picks it up. 0-1 the count. The Reds 53-38. It's their 92nd game of the year. The Expos playing number 93. 0-1 delivery. Griffey swings on it and fouls it straight back. Count goes 0-2 to Ken Griffey. Dews off the mound, Griffey away from the plate, Kenny back in, and Dews back onto the pitching rubber and checks with his catcher, Gary Carter. His stretch. And the pitch. Griff swings, pops it foul. Out of play to the left. Out holes, no balls, 2 strikes to Ken Griffey.
The game continues at the beginning of side 2 after a 60-second delay.
Dews has his sign. And again, the 0-2. That swung on and popped into center field. Dawson coming on. He has it 2 away, and Rose holds it first. That brings Joe Morgan to the plate. Joe popped out to Parrish in foul territory in the first inning. The last 4 games, the Reds have had 10 or more hits. over to first, and Pete steps back. 2 out. Seaver led off by grounding to Cash, and then after the base hit, Griffey a fly ball to center. A pitch to Morgan, up high, off-speed pitch. 1-0. Of course, Joe's next home run would be his 200th of his career. Hughes to the belt, checks Rose, delivers. Morgan swings and fouls. That ball off his right foot. Not even 1-1 to Morgan. Talking about strikeout leaders, J.R. Richard has 167. Phil Necro, the Braves, 129, and Tom Seaver has 3 tonight to give him 121, and Morgan now heading to the on-deck circle for the pine tar rag and trying to shake the sting off of that foul ball off his right foot. Count a ball a strike, with Rose at first base. Three innings have gone by in Pittsburgh. The Pirates still leading the Dodgers 1-0. Hughes to the belt. His pitch. Morgan swings, pops it up in the infield. Dave Cash calling for it, waiting on it, and he has it, and that's the inning. For the Reds in the third, no runs, a hit, no errors, a runner left on base, and at the end of 3, Montreal 1, Cincinnati 0.
Man, I love to drive on the open road and listen to that old night wind blow. Chewing Red Fox, it sure does ease my mind. Riding this ribbon on through the dark, no place to stop, no place to park. Me and Red Fox chewing tobacco, making up lost time. The Red Fox folks know what they're doing when it comes to making tobacco for chewing. For relaxation, man, it's one of a kind. It's moist and soft and mild for sure. The flavor's fresh. The taste is pure. It settles you down and helps a man unwind. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with the picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco. Now it's better than ever. So when that highway starts to call, run with the fox that beats them all, Red Fox. 'Cause Mister, taking it easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
As we go to the 4th inning, it'll be Tony Perez to lead it off for the Expos, then Larry Parrish and Warren Cromartie. Perez in the 2nd inning, a fly ball to Griffey in right field. Tony hitting .297, 8 home runs, 51 RBIs, and of course Tony with a consecutive streak of 90 or more RBIs in the season. And he needs 39 the rest of the year. A check swing foul on a breaking ball. And I think you'd have to almost bet that Tony would get him. Oh, and 1 to count. Outfield straight away. Seaver into the wind, the 0-1. Breaking ball, low and outside. A ball a strike to Perez. Tony hit his 8th home run of the year last night. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, popped up. Right side, Danny Dreesen foul territory on the warning track, and a step away from the dugout makes the play. One away, and third baseman Larry Perry steps to the plate. Perry struck out in the 2nd inning on a good fastball. Pitch to Parrish, check swing, and did he go far enough? We'll see. Joe West, the first base umpire, says no. Seaver winds the pitch. Swung on, line drive, left field, a base hit. Foster plays it on the bounce, bobbles the ball, and returns it to the infield. And Parrish has the 2nd hit of the game as Concepcion throws over to first, but Larry back. Well, with one away, Warren Cromartie, the batter. Cromartie ended the second inning with a fly ball to Henderson in center field. Cromartie hitting .270, 4 home runs, 28 RBIs. Warren, the left-handed batter. A little bit of Ralph Garr in him as he stands at the plate. Go over to first, and Parrish is back. Cromartie away from the plate, now back in. Seaver the stretch. And delivers. Cromartie swings and bounces it to Morgan. Short hops. He looks at Parrish. Now you have to throw to Dreesen. I think Joe had ideas of tagging Larry, but Larry had gone by him by the time he fielded the ball. So Parrish now at second. Cromartie out. Morgan to Dreesen. 2 away, and Gary Carter the batter. Carter struck out in the third. Outfield straight away to Carter. Seaver to the belt. Looking back at Parrish, and delivers. Gary swings and misses a slider away. Gary Carter, one of the fine-looking young ball players in the National League. He's in a bit of a slump, hitting .237. Seaver the 0-1. Swung on, as looped into right field. Grippy on the run, and he makes the play. Moving toward the line, and on the dead run, Kenny does it easily. Well, that's the inning. The Expos, no runs, they get a hit. There were no errors, a runner left on base. Middle of the fourth, Montreal 1, Cincinnati nothing.
Cool it when the sun's up high. Cool it when the sun's down low.
Ah, everyone loves that warm, wonderful summer sun. Kind of makes you think of baseball, swimming, tennis, and air conditioning. That's right, 'tis the season to be cool, and Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling wants to cool it for you this summer with Lennox air conditioning. Dad knows that air conditioning adds to the value of your home, but more important, it allows the entire family to cool off during these hot, sticky summer months. The Cool It experts at Crawford Nichols work hard to keep you comfortable by offering Central Ohioans 24-hour service 365 days a year. So enjoy the sun and fun that goes with summer, but be cool. For a free home cooling estimate, call Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling today and say cool it.
Now you can cool it with Crawford Nichols, that's the way.
876-1234.
Before the Reds bat in the bottom half of the fourth, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is yours on Zebra 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, the home of the Reds for Central Ohio.
For the Reds in the fourth, it'll be Foster, Dreesen, and Fence. George in the first inning bounced to Parrish deep at third. George with a .303 batting average, 21 home runs, 71 RBIs, and as Marty pointed out, he is tied for the lead in the National League with Jack Clark. Clark had 4 this afternoon. Hughes delivers, and a breaking pitch is high. George with 14 home runs and 6 triples. Foster tied for third in the league in triples. 1 ball, no strikes. Hughes delivers, and Foster swings and tries to check on a breaking ball, but can't. The count evens 1-1. Hughes back to the plate. Swung on and hit off the foot of Deuce to Spire and to Perez, and an out, and that's the second time it's happened in the series. That ball looked like it hit Deuce on the right shoe, heel of the right shoe, and bounced right to Chris Spire, and well, now it might have struck him on the right ankle, and their trainer will go out to check him out. Belanger, the Montreal trainer, but apparently Dew's all right. They're going to let him throw a couple, but the play on Foster goes 1 to 6 to 3 for the first out of the inning. Danny Dreesen will be the batter. Dan walked leading off the second inning. Dew's taking a couple of pitches to make sure everything's all right. He nods his head, and Satch Davidson, who's standing up on the mound, makes sure, and now heads back to the plate. A one away, and Danny Dreesen the batter. Last night, Pete Rose hit a rope up the middle at Ross Grimsley in the third inning, striking Ross on the leg and bouncing to Cash. Cash throwing Pete out. Dews winds and delivers, and Dreesen swings and pops it up in the infield. Larry Parrish, the third baseman, waiting on it, and he has it quickly 2 away. 2 down, it'll be Johnny Bench. John forced Dreesen at second in the second inning. John swinging a good bat since the All-Star break. John has had 2 hits in 4 of the 5 games since the All-Star break. The pitch to him, low and outside the ball. Here's the 1-0. Bench swings on it and hits it into left field deep. Going back full, Marty, and on the warning track hauls it in. Reds out in order in the 4th, nothing across, and after 4 innings here at Riverfront in Cincinnati, it's the Expos 1, the Reds nothing.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroll for the real beer lovers. Stroll, take back no other. Everyone knows it's the beer lovers beer. Family fruit for over 200 years. Real beer lovers say they go out of their way for a stroll. Oh, yeah, yeah, stroll for the real beer lovers. Stroll, take back no other stroll for the real beer lovers. From one beer lover to another stroll.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Four-inning total show Montreal a run on 2 hits, no errors. The Reds, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Chris Spire will lead it off for the Expos in the 5th. Back with the action, Marty Brenneman.
Thank you, Joe. Spire tonight has gone 0 for 1. He was up in the 3rd inning. Seaver struck him out swinging. The only Montreal run of the night coming after Tom dropped the throw from Danny Dreesen on the ground ball off the bat of Hal Dews in the 3rd inning, with the pitcher being charged with an error. Then he walked Dave Cash on 4 pitches, and Dawson burned him with a double off the wall in right, scoring Dews with the game's only run up to this point. Spire, Dews, and Cash here in the top of the 5th of a rapidly moving ball game. In the American League tonight, only 1 score across so far. Baltimore shutting out Texas 3-0 at the end of 4.5. Ellis against McGregor. Other games will have Chicago at Milwaukee. Wilbur Wood will oppose Jerry Augustine. And then 3 West Coasters, Cleveland at California, Detroit at Oakland, and Toronto at Seattle. Spire, after the 3rd inning strikeout, has had but 1 hit in his last 17 times up. The first pitch a strike to him. Here's the 0-1, and that's low and outside for a ball. We saw this club a couple of months ago. Spire was going great guns, finding the base hits few and far between of late. The 1-1 from Seaver is outside. 2 balls and a strike. Tom has struck out 3. He has walked 1. And the 2 hits have come off the bats of Dawson, the double that drove in the run, and Parrish a single to left field in the last inning. Swing and a miss on a pitch away, 2-2. Tom consistently keeping the ball out away from Spire. Chris has hit only 3 home runs this season, but he's got some pop in his bat. You make a mistake, and he can leave on you. Just low for ball 3, and the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Spire out of the batter's box. He's back in there, and here comes a 3-2 pitch. He shoots it foul off first base and carrying on back into the seats. Boy, with the way this Western Division race is going, every game so very important. The Reds know full well that the Giants played and lost this afternoon in Chicago. Ball, strike 3 call. Spire had thrown the bat away to head on down to first, and Pat Davidson calls him back. That's a strikeout. So Spire is struck out for the second time. Here's Hal Dews, who reached on Seaver's error and scored the run. And the Giants losing today. The Dodgers losing after 3 innings, 1-0 to Don Robinson and the Pirates in Pittsburgh tonight. And that Pirate Ball Club playing some good baseball. Ball 1. They are currently in 3rd place in the Eastern Division, 5 back of Philadelphia. And they need a win tonight to remain a half game back of Chicago. Montreal in 4th place, 7.5 games behind the Phillies. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. If there is a race tighter than the West in the National League, it's that American League Western Division. Kansas City and California in a virtual deadlock for 1st place. Kansas City with a 1 percentage point lead over the Angels. Texas 2 back. And Oakland 2.5 games back. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitcher faces pitcher. Tell you one thing, that Oakland club had to surprise a lot of people by the start it got at the beginning of the season. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And hanging right into the Western Division race at this late stage. They've played 89 games or 92 games, and they're 2 over 500. Dews strikes out swinging. Got a business firm from Mount Washington we note here tonight. An incorporated firm, no less. Fran, Chester, and Martin. Always nice to see them show up from my neck of the woods. 2 down now in the Montreal 5th inning as Seaver's gotten back-to-back strikeouts at the expense of Spire and Dews, and that brings up leadoff batter Dave Cash. He's grounded out and walked. Takes a slow curve outside for a ball. Fastball in for a call strike. In the American League Eastern Division, Boston still leading by a whopping 8.5 games over Milwaukee and 13 over Baltimore. There's a pitch low, 2 balls and a strike. Orioles 13 back. The Yankees are 14 out. They're only 5 over 500. Check swing, strike 2 call. Of course, in case you missed it, Billy Martin suspending indefinitely Reggie Jackson. Well, now we understand it's a 5-day suspension, but I understand Jackson made the comment he wished he knew how long it was so he could go back to California and rest for a while. In fact, he did go back to California. Cash fouls it away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'll tell you, that would make a pretty good soap opera now. Billy versus Reggie. It has been going on full bore for a couple of years. Quiet times, although brief they might be, and 2 guys with super egos are battling head-to-head again. Now Cash steps away from the plate. We're in the top of the 5th inning here and trailing Montreal 1-0. Seaver working against Cash with 2 out. The base is empty. And to the Montreal leadoff batter, the 2-2 pitch again. Bounce toward shortstop. Davey to his right, gloves and throws a 1 bouncer to Dreesen, and he got him. That's the inning. 3 up and 3 down. The 3rd time in 5 that Tom has turned the trick. And halfway through this Tuesday night close encounter with the Montreal Expos, it's the Expos 1 and the Reds 0.
When your car needs an oil change, chances are what you say is change the oil, which is all you need to say unless you want to make a change for the better. Namely, new Ultra D motor oil from Marathon. Marathon's new Ultra D motor oil is a special blend of natural and synthetic ingredients that's really different from conventional blends. A special blend that means better gas mileage for you. More miles per tank full. New Ultra D motor oil was tested by independent laboratories, including road tests in typical city and highway driving, and the results were the same. Improved gas mileage, more miles per tank full. So go ahead, improve your mileage. Get your car's engine together with Marathon's new Ultra D motor oil.
You can change for the better with new Ultra D.
A change for the better from the people who do it better. Marathon Oil Company.
Well, the Reds are on the road for the next week and a half. The Cincinnati Reds official 580 gift shop in downtown Cincinnati is inviting you to stop by. It isn't as crowded when the team is out of town, and you'll have more time to browse around and look at all the unique gift items and souvenirs. Many of the things on the shelves are 580 exclusives, things you won't find anyplace else. The Reds 580 gift shop is open Monday through Saturday from 7:30 until 5:30, and it's located in the street-level lobby of the 580 building, corner of 6th and Walnut in downtown Cincinnati. Kenny Henderson opening up the bottom of the 5th inning for our side, and the first pitch is high to him. He hit a hard liner, but directly at Valentine and right back in the second. Swung on and hammered down the right field line, but a foul ball. Kenny hit it well. Tonight's scoreboard stumper, only 4 active pitchers have won more career games than Tom Seaver. Who are they? The Dews against Henderson, a ball and a strike. The pitch bounced toward second baseman Cash, who gloves it and throws him out at first base. 1 down. We'll bring up Dave Concepcion, batting 8th in the lineup tonight. Davey represents the only strikeout that Dews has chalked up. I'd like to send along our best tonight to Reds fans listening on WSIX in Nashville, WHMQ in Findlay, and WTRE in Greensburg, Indiana. Tomorrow night we'll be emanating from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Reds in the Eastern Division leading Phillies, Carlton against Moscow. Davey takes a strike at the knees. That's low and outside for a ball. Well, you take Philadelphia's record and stick them in the Western Division. They'd be in 4th place right now. They've won 48 and lost 37. The Giants in the West, who lead everybody, now 56 and 37 after the defeat today at the hands of the Cubs. The Reds have won 53. The Dodgers have won 53. Strike 2 call. Hal Dews not fooling around. He's rolling along his merry way with a 1-0 lead and trying to make that stand up for his 4th win of the year. Reds have had only 2 hits, and both from the bat of Pete Rose, a double in the 1st and a single in the 3rd. Here's a fly ball hit to right. Ellis Valentine tracking it as he backs up and makes a catch. So 2 gone quickly for Cincinnati, and here's Tom Seaver. Tom led off the 3rd inning and grounded out the 2nd. Reds had 10 hits last night. Montreal had 15. We had a dozen hits in the win over the Mets on Sunday. 12 hits Saturday. 10 hits on Friday. Here's strike 1 call. So the offense has certainly returned to form, but tonight the bats have been very quiet, largely due to the work of this 23-year-old Texan. Swing and a foul back. Strike 2. Seaver checking his swing as Dews comes straight over the top with a high hard one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reds have had base runners in every inning with the exception of the 4th. He's trying to retire them in order here in the 5th inning, and he did it as Seaver looks at strike 3. Nothing across for Cincinnati in the 5th inning as Dews retires Henderson, Concepcion, and Seaver. So we've completed 5, and Montreal leads the Reds 1-0.
It's the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs and the score 2-1. Suplex on Phillips. He steps back into the batter's box. Here's the windup, and here's the pitch.
Plan right now. Call New Sash, the window experts, 267-8396. The winter of 78 won't be forgotten easily, and this coming winter is forecast as cruelly cold. New Sash, the original replacement window, features the tilt-in window for easy cleaning. Your New Sash windows will perfectly fit because they're custom-made to stop heat and cold air in its tracks. Thermopane glass adds double insulation. Your monthly fuel bills will be up to 30% lower with New Sash windows protecting and beautifying your home. BJ Industries is your New Sash distributor. Outside Columbus, call Collect 267-8396. You're the winner with New Sash.
With Joe Nuxall, Marty Brenneman back at Riverfront Stadium as we roll on into the sixth inning, and the answer to that scoreboard stumper tonight, the four active pitchers with more career victories than Tom Seaver are Jim Cott, who will be facing us Thursday night in Philadelphia, Gaylord Perry, Ferguson Jenkins, and Mickey Lolich. Cott, of course, now with the Phillies, Perry with the San Diego Padres, Mickey Lolich also, and it shouldn't be too very long before he comes back after knee surgery, and Ferguson Jenkins, of course, pitches for the Texas Rangers. In to start off the sixth for Montreal, Andre Dawson. His double back in the third knocked in the only run. He swings and pops it out of play. A two-base hit extended Dawson's hitting streak to 5 games. Swung on and foul, strike 2. Well, the Reds would finish this long homestand with a winning record, losing 3 out of 4 to the Dodgers way back in the early days of this month, and beating Houston 2 out of 3, splitting 4 with the San Francisco Giants, and taking 3 out of 4 against the New York Mets. Swung on and rammed into left field. Second hit tonight for Dawson, and the third Montreal base hit. Valentine lined out softly to Concepcion in the first inning, and on a super play by Johnny Bench, Valentine tried to bunt his way aboard and also got a run in back in the third, and Bench picked it up on the bounce off the carpet barehanded and fired him out. Throw to first, Dawson back. Valentine currently has the longest hitting streak on the Montreal club. He's hit in 14 straight games, going 30 for 36. Another throw to first. Dawson dives back in. Dawson will steal a base on you. He's done it 18 times to lead the club. Another throw to first and safe again, but Seaver and Dreesen getting closer and closer with each throw that way, and now Dawson calls time. Dust himself off down beyond the first base bag. Seaver pacing around behind the mound, waiting for Dawson to get back in there. Well, the runner is at first base. Valentine in the batter's box, still waiting on Seaver's first pitch. Dawson leaning a bit, but Bench calls for a pitch out, but nothing going on at first base. Ball 1. Tony Perez on deck. Throw to first, and they got him! Try again. That's exactly what number 41 did, and that time proved to be the lucky charm because he nails Dawson. Andre Dawson picked off of first base. So Seaver now can direct full attention to trying to retire Valentine. It's a ball and no strikes. Swung on and looped into right center. Henderson and Griffey running hard. Kenny can't get it. Ball bounces behind him. Henderson up with the ball, throwing into second, but late. A little flare in shallow right center. Both Griffey and Henderson came in on it. Griffey could not get to the ball, and with Henderson backing up, it was a good thing because the ball skipped by Kenny. And that'll be a two-base hit for Ellis Valentine, extending his hitting streak to 15 games. Now, Tony Perez at the plate. He's flied to right. He has popped up and foul grounded Dreesen. Seaver checks a runner, pitches. Perez takes it up and away. I don't think that we have seen Perez in better shape physically than he is this season. He grounds one off the mound, side of the mound. Concepcion fields it. Davey throws him out, and Valentine has to hold at second. The ball hit the side of the pitching mound, third base side, and it was Concepcion to Danny Dreesen for out number 2. Here's Larry Parrish. Well, we welcomed Riverfront tonight the president of the Indianapolis Indians, Reds AAA Farm Club, Max Schumacher, here tonight with his family. 2 down. Parrish is hitless, or 1 for 2 after striking out on the second. He singled to left field his last time up. He got around on a pitch out away, strike 1. 1-0. Montreal has the better of it right now as they hit in the 6th inning. A win for Cincinnati would draw them to within a game and a half of the San Francisco Giants. A loser today in Chicago. That one gets through, and Valentine will jog on into third base. So Seaver delivers a wild pitch that moves Valentine to third, and a ball on the strike count on Larry Parrish. So Tom's ability to pick off Andre Dawson after he had singled to begin the inning proves to be a big play. And now the main order of business is to make Parrish the final out of the inning and leave Valentine at third. The 1-1. High, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Seaver studies his sign, kicks, and he fires. Parrish takes this one upstairs, ball 3. See if they turn Parrish loose on this pitch. He takes ball 4, so Tom has issued his second walk. That gives Montreal runners on the corners and keeps things going for Warren Cromartie. Well, at the end of 5 innings of play in Pittsburgh, the Dodgers lead the Pirates 5-2. L.A. scoring 5 times in the 4th inning. 5-2, Dodgers over the Pirates. Cromartie has flied out to Henderson in center, grounded out to Morgan at second. He fouls the first pitch, a fastball back. Montreal with 4 hits, 2 here in the inning. Reds have had but 2 off Hal Dews. Valentine over at third base. Parrish with a walk at first. And the strike 1 pitch. Swung on and bounced foul at first base, 0-2. In that Dodger-Pirate game, Joe Ferguson has homered for L.A. Dave Parker has played long ball for Pittsburgh, and Dale Murphy. Boy, you talk about somebody on a home run tear. He's hit his 15th of the season tonight against the New York Mets. That's his 6th home run in 6 games. Seaver wheels and deals with the 0-2 to Cromartie, and he fouls it away. An Atlanta ball club with a 3-1 lead over the Mets in the 7th inning. San Diego and the Cardinals scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd. Seaver trying to get out of a first and third, 2-out jam. Cromartie with a holding 2-strike count as he levels a bat. Seaver stretches, the pause and the pitch. He just missed low, and Tom wanted that one in the worst kind of way. He kicked up a bit of dirt on the front slope of the mound. That's the second time tonight that he has been a bit at odds with plate umpire Satch Davidson. He thought that pitch got the knees. Outfield for Cromartie, a left-handed batter straight away. Pitching Seaver. Cromartie ground ball. Morgan dives, can't get it. Base hit right field. Valentine comes in to score, and Montreal has taken a 2-0 lead. Joe Morgan gave it his best shot, diving off to his left, but could not get a glove on the ball, and Cromartie has picked up his 29th RBI. Parrish moves on to second, and the batter is catcher Gary Carter. Carter is struck out. He's also fly to right. Griffey making a nice running catch of his fly ball in the 4th inning. Ball 1. Bench bluffing a throw down to second. This one fouled back, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. That is a natural reaction when you're not sure where the foul ball is coming. That did not have any chance at all of making it up here into the booth, but if you're not looking, you do have a tendency to flinch a bit, as you did. Ground ball to third. Pete has it. He'll flip to second to Morgan for the force play on Cromartie, and that's the inning. But Montreal has added another run. On the trio of base hits, they strand 2. And after 5.5, the Expos lead the Reds 2-0.
The Stroh Brewery is delighted to give you the exciting details of another big weekend in town with our hard-hitting Reds. Friday, July 28th, Saturday, July 29th, and Sunday, July 30th. This baseball extravaganza includes hotel accommodations for 2 nights, 3 delicious meals, reserved seats at spacious Riverfront Stadium. There'll be 4 big games and 2 Stroh's hospitality parties where you can get plenty of that good cold Stroh's beer along with music and dancing. Yes, another baseball weekend, fans. A chance to get with it, relax, and cheer for the Reds. So be sure to get in on the action. It's just $79.95 per person. For complete details on this sports weekend, contact the Barney Rapp Agency at 513-381-7277. Get a pencil now and write that number down. 513-381-7277, the Barney Rapp Agency. Bring your family, bring your friends, and don't miss it. We at Stroh's hope you can make it, because it's going to be great, just like Stroh's beer.
The sons of the Cincinnati Reds players have never really had any problem beating their dads in the Reds' annual father-son game, but this year the boys will be getting some extra help because it's going to be the dads against their sons and daughters. The date is Sunday afternoon, August 6th. The Reds meet the Padres at 2:15, and the pregame fun gets underway about 1:45. All the boys and girls will be formally introduced on the field, and then the kids put their unbeaten record on the line in a game that's sure to provide a lot of laughs for everyone. Don't miss this special doubleheader. That's the Reds players against their youngsters prior to the game of the Padres on Sunday, August 6th. We have had a whole bunch of trouble hitting Hal Dews tonight. Here's a man who's had both hits off the Montreal pitcher, Pete Rose. He doubled to left center in the first. He singled to center in the third. And now we need 2 runs to get even. Dews with a couple of combined shutouts this season over the Mets and the Pirates in his recent success, trying to do it all by himself in this one. Here's the pitch to Rose. Swung on and fouled off third. Pete has jumped his batting average up 4 points. Now is hitting at .308. The 0-1 on the way to the plate, and that's strike 2 call. No balls and 2 strikes. He's mildly arguing the call with Satch Davidson as the crowd reacts. High and outside, a fastball. He's not a strikeout pitcher, at least tonight. He's fanned only 2 batters. And a total of 24 this season. Missing inside with a fastball to Rose. 2-2 now. Dews sights a sign, delivers a break-even pitch. Pete fouls it off. We've stranded 3 runners. Rose in the first inning. Bench in the second. After Dreesen walked to begin the inning, Bench forced him with a ground ball to third, and then Rose again in the third, who came up with a 1-out single. Since that time, Dews has retired 8 batters in a row. He fouls another pitch off, Pete does. Two and holding with Griffey and Morgan due up after Rose. Hopefully more. The wind and the pitch. Ground ball to short. Spire throwing to first. In the dirt, Perez plays it. 1 away. We'll pause for station identification once again on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. Ground ball up the middle. Glove by Cash. Sets and throws. Got him at first base. 2 away. And that's a 10 in a row now. The Dews are set down as he faces Joe Morgan. Joe has not been able to get the ball out of the infield with a foul pop to third and a pop to second. Strike is called. Tonight, Mount Airy night here at Riverfront. Walter Lafray, the president of the Mount Airy Businessmen's Association, threw out the ceremonial first pitch prior to the second annual Mount Airy night. He also honored Pete Rose before the game. 2 out, bases empty in the 6th inning. Montreal 2, the Reds nothing. Morgan waiting on a 1-strike pitch. He takes it low for a ball. Davey Concepcion good-naturedly jawing with his former roomie, Tony Perez. Curveball low, 2-1. Davey standing down at the far end of the dugout. And he and Perez carrying on a running conversation between pitches. 2-1 to count on Morgan. Joe swings and misses on a pitch up. Ready now with a 2-2. That is foul away. Reds have been involved in 12 shutouts this season. They have been shut out 6 times, and our pitchers have shut the opposition out 6 times. Just missed. Parrish, Spire, all had started toward the third base dugout on a breaking ball just high. The Dews pitching carefully to Morgan has run the string out on the Red second baseman, and the 3-2 pitch is on the way. He walked him. Second walk to the Reds offense in the game, and that gives Foster a chance as he steps in representing the tie and run. George, after bouncing out to Parrish in the first inning, hit a wicked shot that caromed off the foot of Hal Dews and over to Chris Spire in the 4th inning, and Spire threw him out. Check of Morgan with a throw to first. This is a special date you want to mark down on your calendar coming up in late August, the Reds' 40th annual Shrine Night, Friday, August 25th. Be on hand for all the color and pageantry of Shrine Night. Strike to him. Always one of the more colorful nights here at Riverfront, Shrine Night. 2 down, Morgan at first. Foster takes it in the dirt. Carter a quick throw down to Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike on George Foster. Philadelphia playing in Houston tonight. Greg Luzinski, of course, like Foster, with 21 home runs to lead the National League. Another throw on to first base. Dews with a 1-1 count on the waiting Foster. He swings and fouls it a pitch away, and George falls behind at a ball, 2 strikes. Did not have a hit since the 3rd inning when Pete Rose singled to center. Foster strikes out swinging on a high fastball. So Hal Dews continues to do a number on us. No runs, no hits, 1 left. And after 6 full, Montreal leads Cincinnati 2-0.
Here's some straight talk from Heathkit Electronics at 2500 Morse Road. Heathkit is the largest manufacturer of electronic kits, not toys, but high-quality units that compare with the finest made. Heathkit features a full line of audio components, the finest television to be found anywhere, full line of amateur radio equipment, test equipment and instrumentation for the service, bench, and lab, PA systems, instrument amplifiers, and speaker systems, and automobile accessories from digital clocks to service test equipment. And for the boating buff, Heathkit carries radio telephones, fish spotters, direction finders, and depth sounders. Heathkit at 2500 Morse Road. Opens Tuesday through Saturday at 9:30. Call 475-7200 and order your free catalog. Tell them WRMZ sent you. That's 475-7200. Heathkit.
We're in the 7th inning where the number 8 batter in the Montreal order, shortstop Chris Spire, will start things off. And back to call the action for you, here's Joe.
All right, Marty, Spire, Dews, and Cash. There's the Expos bat in the 7th. Spire 0 for 2, both times up, as struck out. Went down swinging in the 3rd inning. Called out on strikes in the 5th. Tom Seaver and Hal Dews, a real hookup here tonight, but Dews winning it at the moment, 2-0. Expos getting a run in the 3rd, that an unearned run, and picking another up in the 6th. Seaver ready to go to work to Chris Spire. Lines in his first pitch. Spire takes a breaking ball, a called strike. Well, the Nashville Sounds picked up a victory tonight over Orlando, winning 2-1. There's a pitch low and outside, and the count evens 1-1. I think Seaver wanted that one. Brown the winner for Nashville. 1-1 delivery. Spire takes again low and outside. 2 balls to strike. Thomas walked 2. Struck out 5. 2-1 to count. Seaver backs to the plate, and Spire bounces it over the mound. Near the bag, Morgan has it. Throwing on to Dreesen, 1 out. That'll bring pitcher Hal Dews to the plate. Dews scored the first run of the game. He reached on an error by Tom Seaver and scored on Dawson's double from second base. The line, the pitch. Swung on, that's hit to Morgan's left or right backhand. You can't control it, and that'll be a base hit for Hal Dews. Joe going off to his right, got his glove on it, but could not control it. So hit number 6 in the game goes to Hal Dews. 1 away, Dews at first, and Dave Cash the batter. Cash has walked, grounded to third, grounded to short his other 2 times up. Andre Dawson on deck, and Andre with 2 hits in the game. A stretch of the pitch, and it's high ball. Severs shakes off a sign from bench. Now the stretch. He delivers the 1-0. Cash swings and fouls. 1-1. Well, we had a couple of my old teammates at the game last night. Bill Ford, who was a third baseman at Muncie, Indiana in 1947, and Ken Lanning. He was over at Brookville, Indiana. Bill from North Carolina. I didn't know 2 of them were that old. All right, the 1-1. Swung on, that's line foul off to the right, and that scatters him pretty good. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dew's at first base, Dreesen playing behind him. 1 out. Seaver the 1-2. Swung on, that's hit into left center field on the run. Foster, he makes the play. That'll be a double play. Dew's all the way to third base. The throw coming in, and Hal standing at third, and he says, "You're kidding." He caught it. Well, winds up a double play as Foster, a nice running catch into left center field. And the play on Dew's goes from 7 to 3 to complete the double play. And Hal Dew's, I'll say one thing, he was moving on, but wasted energy. Expos in the inning, no runs, a hit, no errors, no one left on base, and at the middle of the 7th, Montreal 2, Cincinnati nothing.
The Grange singers tell us to make friends with tomorrow. Tomorrow is sure to come, and it can bring either bad news or good news. Bad news first. Unless we protect ourselves, we can be victimized by stormy weather, business reverses, failing health, or just bomb breaks. We all get them sooner or later. Now here's the good news. A friendly tomorrow can mean diplomas on the wall, wedding bells, and a jubilant retirement celebration with money in the bank. What's the difference? Your Grange insurance agent can be the difference. Grange wants to be your partner, wants to help you make friends with tomorrow. A friendly Grange agent can get the good news going. Consult the yellow pages for the name of your nearest Grange agent, your partner in protection.
Make friends with tomorrow. Grange Mutual, to be sure.
Well, we need some runs as we bat here in the 7th. It'll be Dreesen, Bench, and Henderson, and hopefully more. Danny is 0 for 1, has walked and popped out to Parrish. Hal Dew's has pitched a very good ball game to this point. Really only a couple of balls hit good off him. That was Pete's double in the first inning, and then Foster hit one off his shoe, or his leg rather, had caromed his fire and was thrown out in the 4th. Other than that, we have not hit the ball that hard at all off Hal Dew's. Young man has struck out 3, has walked 2, and the Reds have had just 2 hits off him, and both of them belonging to Pete Rhodes. So it's about time to go to work. Mike Lacoste will start throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Mike pitched Saturday for Indy in Oklahoma City. Dew's delivers to Dreesen, and Dan swings and fouls. Ball rolling down the third baseline, hitting off his right foot. Dew's 3 and 4 on the year with a fine .254 earned run average. Now Dews wants another baseball from plate umpire Satch Davidson. 0-1 the count. Dews shakes off a sign from Carter. And the 0-1. Greason looks at it outside. Fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's 2 different fastballs. One that'll go away from the left-hander. There's a changeup swung on, ground ball. Cash backhands, throwing, and he got him. A good play by Dave Cash, going off to his right, backhanding, and on a close play, nips Danny Dreesen. 1 away, and Johnny Bench the batter. John 0 for 2 has grounded into a force out and a fly ball to Cromartie, who caught it on the warning track in left field in the 4th inning. News winds and delivers. Bench takes low and outside corner, a called strike. Ken Henderson on deck. News back to the plate. Bench swings, slow choppers, slow third base side, charging Parrish, running through, not in time. Well, maybe that'll get us going. Johnny chopping one along the third baseline. Parrish playing very deep, had to come a long way, got the throw off, but Bench had it beat easily. 3rd hit of the game for the Reds. And Ken Henderson the batter. And Darrell Knowles heading to the Montreal bullpen to start throwing.
Total in the stadium, 43,971. 43971. Paid attendance, 36,739.
Mike Garman joins Darrell Knowles in the Montreal bullpen, and now Henderson backs away from the plate. The attendance tonight here at Riverfront, another good one, 43,971. Got Bench at first base with 1 out. Dews delivers, and Henderson takes a strike on the outside corner. Tony Perez playing behind Johnny Bench down at first base. Reds been out hit 6-3 by the Expos. The pitch. Henderson takes strike 2 at the knees, and Kenny questioning Satch Davidson's call on that one. So Hal Dews in front of Henderson, no balls, 2 strikes, with Dave Concepcion on deck. Dews to the belt, and his pitch high and outside with a fastball. 1-2. Dews sets, delivers. Henderson takes, and that just misses. Count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, just off the plate outside, and I think Gary Carter might be questioning that call by Satch. But the count even is 2-2. Total attendance for the year now, 1,560,471. Here's the 2-2. Henderson swings and hits it into left field deep. Going back, Cromartie. Still going, and a step from the fence hauls it in. Cromartie right at the fence to haul in the fly ball off the bat of Ken Henderson, and with 2 away, Dave Concepcion the batter. Dave 0 for 2 has struck out in a fly ball to right in his 2 times up. Tom Seaver moves on deck. I'd like to see Dave hit number 4 right here and tie this one up. Dews delivers, and Concepcion looks at a strike. Breaking ball over the outside corner. Now Gary Carter asks for time, and he'll go out to the mound to have a word with Hal Dews as Dave Cash moves in from his position at second to join in the conversation. And a very short one as Carter and Cash head back to their positions. Satch Davidson inspecting the baseball, and he's going to give Dews another. right, we're ready to go. The 0-1 swung on and hit into right center field. That could be trouble, and that's between them. Short hops the fence. Dawson with it. They're going to hold Bench up at third base before it gets through, backed up by Perez. That'd have been a gamble, really. You can't plan on a bad throw, and we need 2 runs, not 1, so Tom Seaver would be the batter, but we're going to have a pinch hitter for Tom, and we'll see who it's going to be, Mike Blum. Well, Dave Concepcion doubles to deep right center field. Runners at second and third with 2 out, and Mike Blum will go to the plate to hit for Tom Seaver. For Dave, his 22nd double of the year. Reds now with 4 hits in the game. Mike Blum to hit for Seaver. Mike hitting .286 with 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. He's had 3 doubles. Tommy Seaver worked 7 innings tonight, allowing 6 hits, striking out 5, walking 2 runs, 1 of them earned, and a wild pitch. Jim Brewer has gone to the mound to talk with Larry Parrish along with Dews and Gary Carter. Jim now breaks and heads back for the Expo dugout. Mike Garman and Darrell Knowles throwing in the Montreal bullpen, and Mike Lacoste will be the pitcher in the 8th inning, maybe, but Doug Bear heading down to start throwing. So Mike Blum to step in as a pinch hitter. Mike pinch hitting this year, 7 for 20. Mike has had a couple of game-winning hits. With 4 home runs. Bear joins Lacoste in the Reds bullpen. A base hit here would almost assuredly tie it up. Waiting on Lum to settle in. Dews will work from the stretch. Bench at third, Concepcion at second. The stretch by Dews. And the pitch to Lum. Mike swings and chops it foul off the first base side into the on-deck circle where Pete Rose grabs it. You know, we shouldn't want too much, but it'd be nice to see Michael hit a 3-run jobby right here. Dews looking to Carter, has the sign to the belt, looks back at Concepcion, delivers. Lum takes high, and it's 1-1. Bench, the first base runner we've had by past second base. We got Pete, of course, the second leading off the game with that double. Now the 1-1. High again. 2-1 the count. Infield, very deep. Outfield around to the right. Dews shakes off a sign from Carter. And the stretch. The 2-1. Lum takes high. It's 3-1. Pete Rose on deck. And Rick Auerbach getting a batting helmet down in the Reds dugout. And that would mean if we can get Mike on, that Auerbach in all probability would run for Lum. 3 balls, 1 strike. Mike away from the plate, now back in. Dews has the sign. Here's the 3-1. That's inside, ball 4, the bases are loaded. That brings Pete Rose up, and you can hear in the background fans yelling, Pete, Pete. Here comes Dick Williams. That'll be all for Hal Dews as Auerbach goes to first base, as we speculated, to run for Mike Blum. And the Reds with the bases loaded and 2 out as Dick Williams arrives at the mound, and let's see who he's going to bring on. He'll probably bring on Darrell Knowles to turn Rose around, and that's who it's going to be. Hal Dews leaves after working 6 2/3 of fine baseball. The Reds getting just 4 hits off him. He struck out 3, walked 3, and of course the bases are loaded for Darrell Knowles. We have a break in the action here at Riverfront, and we'll be back after this word.
Hi, this is Nancy Seaver.
And I'm Nancy's husband, Tom.
When we first left New York to live in Cincinnati, we wondered what we'd do for entertainment when Tom wasn't pitching for the Reds.
Luckily, we found the answer right away at Kings Island.
That's right, Kings Island.
You see, most people think of Kings Island as just the best theme park in the entire Midwest.
And while the park's unbeatable, Kings Island is really a total vacation center.
Our family lives at the Jack Nicklaus Golf Center, which is part of the entertainment complex. At the Kings Island Inn, adjacent to the park, you can enjoy swimming and tennis. Or if you like the outdoors, try the Kings Island Campground. Plus, this summer, the National College Football Hall of Fame opens as a new part of Kings Island.
Wow, there's really something fun for everyone. So plan now to come to Cincinnati and watch Tom and the Reds. Bring the entire family and make it a doubleheader. The Reds and Kings Island.
Kings Island. You know, it's just about the best thing to happen to Cincinnati since Tom Seaver.
Oh, Tom.
New pitcher on the mound, Darrell Knowles. Darrell, a left-hander, making his 33rd appearance of the year. He's won 2 and lost 2 with a .234 earned run average. Knowles has 3 saves to his credit. He's worked 42 in the 3rd innings, allowing 38 hits, and has struck out 17, walked 15. Well, Pete Rose, the batter. Pete 2 for 3 tonight. A double in the 1st, single in the 3rd. Rounded to short in the 6th. Against left-handed pitching, Rose hitting .275. He's driven in 8 runs against left-handers. Has 16 doubles and 1 triple. Hell for a double right here. Knowles the stretch. And look out! They got him! Darrell Knowles doesn't even make a pitch. He picks Rick Auerbach off at first base, and a big play by Tony Perez and Darrell Knowles. So just like that, the inning ends, and we get nothing out of it. For the Reds, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 runners left on base, and at the end of 7, Expos 2, Reds nothing.
The time is right, that feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroll for the real beer lover, stroll, taste like no other. Stroll for the real beer lover. Everyone knows it's the beer lover's beer. Family brew for over 200 years. Real beer lovers, baby, go out of their way for a stroll. Hey, 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 stroll for the real beer lovers, stroll. Tastes like no other. Stroll for the real beer lover. From one beer lover to another, stroll.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, the totals for 7 innings show the Expos 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Reds, no runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. And we have a new pitcher on the mound making his first Major League appearance. And to tell you about him, here's Marty.
Okay, Joe, the new pitcher, right-hander Mike Lacoste. Before we discuss what he has done down in Indianapolis this season, we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Complete Cincinnati Reds baseball coverage is yours on Zebra 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
Mike Lacoste, the right-hander out of California, making his first Major League appearance tonight. Of course, this young man was called up from Indianapolis yesterday, where he posted an 11-5 record with a .354 earned run average. Sparky had hopes of getting him into an inning or so before throwing him out there in his first Major League start, which will be coming up against the same Montreal club on Friday night. So he's out there now to face the Expos here in the 8th inning, and it's going to be Andre Dawson, Ellis Valentine, and Tony Perez. Dawson 2 for 3, a run-scoring double. He swings and fouls the first pitch. So the Reds come away with nothing in the 7th inning with the bases loaded, 2 down, and Rose scheduled to bat. Darrell Knowles comes in and promptly picks off pinch runner Rick Auerbach at first base to kill off the Cincinnati threat. Lacoste with the 0-1, swing and a miss by Dawson, strike 2. The pitching line on Hal Dews, he goes 6 2/3, allows 4 hits, no runs, struck out 3 and walked 3. Give you the line on Tom Seaver in just a moment. Ready now with the 0-2 pitch. Dawson swings and hits one deep to left field, and that ball is going to be out of here for a home run. Mike Lacoste gives up a home run to the first batter he faces in the major leagues, Andre Dawson, making the grand tour on his 15th homer of the year, and the Expos now lead it 3-0. Line drive over the left field wall by Dawson off a 2-strike pitch. So the Expos add themselves another run, and the batter will be Ellis Valentine.
Marty, that was a hanging breaking ball, and right there, boy, as a batter, they miss those, and they're really upset with themselves, just as a pitcher is for throwing.
Number 15.
Oh, a big night for Mr. Dawson in this one. Here's Valentine. He line drives a base hit into center field. So the Expos come out smoking here in the 8th against rookie Mike Lacoste. A homer by Dawson, a line drive single to center by Valentine. They now have had 8 hits on the night. Pete Rose going into the mound to talk with young Mike Lacoste before Tony Perez moves to the plate. Tom Seaver again pitched well tonight, but suffering the same malady that he has suffered through so many times this season, and that is lack of run production. 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Struck out 5 and walked 2 and threw a wild pitch. Perez takes a fastball for a strike. Pedro Borbon will start to throw. There's a throw to first base, but not in time to get Valentine. Perez is 0 for 3. He's trying to extend his hitting streak to 8 straight. Lacoste delivers. Perez swings and pops it in the air back in shallow right field. Joe Morgan is under, and he makes the catch. One away for Larry Parrish. In the 7th inning at Pittsburgh, Dodgers 6, Pirates 2. Don Sutton going after his 10th win of the year in that game. If the Dodgers win that one, and Cincinnati is unable to come back from this 3-0 deficit, then the Dodgers will move into second place. Parrish swings and misses and came out from underneath his batting helmet. Such was the velocity of that cut. Valentine leading at first. The infield at double play depth. There's another throw to first base, and Valentine again gets back in. Strike 1 delivery. Swing and a foul out of the mid of Johnny Bench. Mike Lacoste out in front of Larry Parrish. No balls, 2 strikes. Del Unser starting to loosen up now in the Montreal bullpen. He will probably go to first base in the bottom of the 8th inning. Two strikes to count on the batter, Parrish. Missing outside for a ball. And a throw to first again. The ball getting away from Dreesen, rolling up the first baseline away from the bag, but Valentine not going anywhere. Top of the 8th, Montreal 3, the Reds nothing. Lacoste coming on in relief of Seaver, gave up a home run to Dawson, a single to Valentine before popping up Perez. Parrish pops this one up, but it'll be out of play off to the right of the plate. So the count holding on Larry Parrish at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pedro Bourbon leisurely loosening up. Lacoste studies his sign from bench, and he pitches. That's low. It looked like it might have crossed Johnny up with that pitch. 2-2. Checking the pitch. Runner goes. Pitch is swung on and fouled straight back. Well, it's Valentine on the move, but Larry Parrish with a foul ball. And a holding count to the third baseman of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Valentine now looking over to his third base coach to see what's going to be on with his next pitch. Warren Cromartie in the on-deck circle. 1 away, a run in with a runner at first base. Low and outside, full count. Well, you think Valentine will be running on this pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And here's a payoff. The runner goes and another foul back. Somebody apparently made a nice catch just down below our broadcast booth as the crowd reacts favorably. Montreal got a run in the third when Dawson doubled in a run. Another run in the 6th inning when Cromartie had the base hit to make it 2-0, and Dawson is homered here in the 8th to lead it off. Valentine goes, swing and a miss, strikeout, bench throws to second. Valentine out, standing up. That's the inning as Parrish strikes out into a double play, but the Expos get another run on 2 more hits. No errors, none left. After 7.5, Montreal 3, the Reds nothing.
Well, we loaded up the dogs in the pickup truck, heading out hunting and hoping for luck. Raring to go where the country's good as new. We'd hunt for a spell and then settle down, take it easy and gather round, pass a Red Fox chewing tobacco and have a chew. Later on, when we's all done in, we build a fire, let the story spin, open up another pouch and had another chew. Red Fox is mild, and like I say, a taste that fresh tastes good all day. Like a Tennessee hound, Red Fox won't let you down. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with a picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco, now it's better than ever. One day real soon, between me and you, I'm heading back to the fields with my Red Fox chew, 'cause mister, taking it easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
Well, the Reds will try to get it going again here in the bottom of the 8th inning after having the bases loaded in the last inning, only to see Rick Auerbach, pinch running for Mike Lum, get picked off at first base. So Pete Rose will start it off against the left-hander Darrell Knowles here in the bottom of the 8th. One ball and no strikes on Rose. The next pitch swung on and grounded to shortstop. Spire makes a play, and on to first baseman Del Unser, who has replaced Tony Perez at first base, and Rose is out to lead off the bottom of the 8th. We'll bring up Ken Griffey, who's fly to left, fly to center, and bounced out to second base. Griffey 0 for 3 in the game. He swings and hammers one to straightaway center field, but there's Dawson backing up to make the catch, and quickly 2 away. Oh, Darrell Knowles working in relief of Hal Dews, trying to pick up a save and nail down this young man's 4th victory of the season. Knowles has gotten the first 2 outs in the 8th for Joe Morgan, who's popped up twice and in the 6th inning drew a base on balls. Pitch. Morgan pops it up back at third, racing over his Parrish. He's under, and he makes the catch to end the inning. The Reds are out in order in the bottom of the 8th, and after 8 complete, Montreal 3, Cincinnati 0.
There's a big M sign round the corner, down the road and up the street. And there's a friend of mine round that corner, someone you all know and someone you'd be glad to meet.
Somewhere near where you live, there's a big M sign that tells you this is someplace different. This is the working home of your marathon man. What that means to you is there's somebody there that still thinks wiping your windshield, checking the air in your tires, and the water in your batteries are part of what you're supposed to get when you come into his station. That big M sign is a sign there's still a place to take your car and have it taken care of the way it's supposed to be. And that big M sign means there's a man worth knowing working under it.
Go get together with a friend who'll do it better. Go see your marathon man.
Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better.
So it'll be Cromartie, Carter, and Spire here in the 9th inning against right-hander Pedro Bourbon. Bourbon brings to the mound a record of 5-1 with a .420 earned run average. This will be his 39th appearance of the season and breaks him out of a 3-way tie. Actually, a 4-way tie. Doug, Bear, Bourbon, Sarmiento, and Tomlin have all appeared in 38 games, so Bourbon takes over club leadership in appearances. And his first pitch is low for a ball to Cromartie. Cromartie is flied out, grounded out in the 6th inning, single to right field to knock in a run. He bounces to third. Rose plays it even with the bag and shoots him down at first base. 1 out. Oh, with 1 gone in the Montreal 9th inning, that'll bring up Gary Carter, who is grounded, who struck out, fly to right, and hit into a force play in the 6th inning. For our listeners in Cincinnati, we apologize for the technical problems that we have had as Carter swings and misses. In the 8th inning for Cincinnati, Rose grounded to short. Griffey lined to center, and Morgan popped up in foul ground to third baseman Parrish. So Darrell Knowles set the Reds down in order in the bottom of the 8th, and we're in the 9th inning. Bourbon is on the mound. Cromartie has bounced out to third. Carter with a count of a strike. He swings and fouls this one back. In the 8th inning for Montreal, Dawson homer to left, Valentine single to center. Perez popped to second, and Parrish on a 3-2 pitch struck out swinging. And Valentine was running. He was thrown out, bench to Morgan. Bourbon with Carter, 2 strikes, as Montreal leads in the 9th 3-0. He checked his swing, or did he? No, he did not. First base umpire Joe West says Carter got around on the pitch, and that'll be a strikeout for Bourbon. Chris Spire, the 2-out batter. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Cincinnati will be sending up against Knowles, Foster, Dreesen, and Bench. Spire's 0 for 3, has struck out twice. Takes a pitch outside. That's in there for a call strike. 1-1. Bouncing ball to short. Concepcion gloves it. Throws to first. Spire is out, and that's the inning. Montreal out 1-2-3. After 8.5, the Expos 3 and the Reds nothing.
The time is right. That feeling's coming through. Real beer lovers know only one beer will do. Stroh's for the real beer lovers. Stroh's taste like no other. Stroh's for the real beer lover. Everybody knows it's the beer lover's beer. It's family brewed for over 200 years. Real beer lovers From one beer lover to another stroll.
Stroh, the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, and we need 3 runs to tie things up here against Darrell Knowles and company. Dick Williams has made another defensive maneuver, lifting Dave Cash in favor of Pepe Frias, who now plays second base. So we had Del Unser come into the game replacing Perez in the bottom of the 8th inning, and now Frias has taken over for Cash at second in the last of the 9th. Foster has grounded out twice. In the 6th inning, he struck out swinging. The Reds have been shacked on but 4 hits. Young Hal Dews sitting over in the Montreal dugout as Foster swings on a Knowles curve and misses. And if Knowles can keep the Reds off the board here in the 9th, it would have been the 3rd combined shutout that Dews has been a part of this season. Low 1-1. Mike Garman staying loose in the Montreal bullpen. He's a right-hander. Knowles going behind the mound to rub up the baseball. Looks to Carter and sends in the 1-1 to Foster. Swing and a miss. George way out in front on the slow breaking ball. Now as Knowles starts to the windup, Foster steps out. Dreesen on deck, Johnny Bench waiting in the dugout. Pitch. Just missing a breaking ball, 2-2. Now Satch Davidson walks out toward the mound to inspect the baseball. Knowles walking behind the mound now to rub up the new one. See a 9th inning tonight like we saw a 6th inning last night. 4 big ones. Foster hits a high fly ball to straightaway center field. Going back to the warning track is Dawson at the wall. It's gone. Foster hits a high towering drive to straightaway center field to break up the Montreal bid for a shutout. His 22nd home run of the year to take over league leadership, and it's now a 3-1 game.
The game continues at the beginning of side 4 after a 60-second delay.
That ball came back into the ballpark. Apparently it hit the backdrop in center field and then came back in. So that's one of them. Here's Dreesen, and he looks at a strike. And he's 0 for 2. Was robbed in the 7th inning on a fine play by Cash. His ground ball. Check swing. It's low. It's a ball. 1-1. So Foster with his 22nd home run to take over the league leadership by 1 over Greg Luzinski, although the Phillies are still playing in Houston. And his 72nd run batted in to regain the lead by 1 over Jack Clark. High and inside to a ball 2-1. Jack Clark and George Foster have quite a thing going. George led by 4 after last night, but young Clark knocked in 4 today in Chicago. Ball 3. No, a strike. Satch Davidson got that breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 2, and Dreesen turns quickly away in disgust over the call. 2-2. Pitch. High and tight, ball 3. And you may see Garman come on to face Bench should Dreesen work Mr. Knowles for a walk or get a base hit or whatever. Here comes a 3-2. Ball 4, he walked him. So Foster is homered. Dreesen has gotten a base on balls, bringing Johnny Bench to the plate, representing the tie and run. Here comes Dick Williams out of the Montreal dugout. Mike Garman has been called in now to face Johnny Bench with Danny Dreesen at first base, nobody out, a run in, and the Reds trailing 3-1. So we've got a ninth inning break in the action as the Reds try to come back, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I've got grease no matter where you are, the champion.
Right-hander Mike Garman now on the Riverfront Stadium mound to try and get the Reds out in the ninth inning after Foster has homered to straightaway center field. And also against Darrell Knowles, Danny Dreesen has worked a walk. Nobody out. Garman, in 18 appearances with Montreal, shows a record of 0-2 with a high .623 earned run average. But he has 6 saves to lead the Montreal bullpen in that department. Overall on the year, including his figures between L.A. and Montreal, he's 0-3 in 27 relief appearances and a .545 earned run average. Here's Johnny Bench. He's 1 for 3. He takes it high and inside. John in an infield hit down the third baseline in the 7th inning. Infield, a double play depth, the 1-0 pitch. That's upstairs, ball 2. Bench walks away from the plate as Garman smooths the dirt out on the front slope of the pitching mound. The Reds are trying to rally. Trailing 3-1 in the bottom of the ninth. Bench is out front, 2 balls and no strikes. Garman deals, John takes it, and that's in for strike 1. Two balls, 1 strike. Unser playing deep at first, guarding the line. Parrish likewise at third. Bench grounds one up the middle. Base hit, center field. Dreesen takes the turn. He'll hold at second base, and the Reds have him at first and second with nobody out for Kenny Henderson. Johnny Bench comes through with a ground single into center. Ken Henderson, who has hit the ball well twice tonight. A line drive to right that was caught by Valentine, and a fly ball to deep left field in the 7th inning that Cromartie caught flat up against the wall. Dave Collins has now gone in to run for Bench at first base, as the Reds now have the tying runs on and still nobody out. Sparky Anderson getting speed on the base pass. Dreesen, of course, can run with a wind. Collins can run better. Kenny Henderson waiting on Garman's pitch. He swings and sends a fly ball into center field. Calling for it is Dawson, and he makes the catch. 1 down. Here's Davey Concepcion, who drove a double to right center field in the 7th inning. Boy, that run that the Expos got in the 8th on the home run by Dawson, what you would call at this point insurance. So Davey, 1 for 3, having struck out and flied out to right in addition to the 2-base hit his last trip in there. Stands in with Dreesen at second, Collins at first, and 1 out. Garman with a long look to Carter, too long to suit Concepcion. He's out of the box. They play Davey the other way. Boy, you talk about room down the left field line. He's got a bunch of it. He bounces slowly toward third, but that's a foul ball. Garman walking behind the mound. Now comes back on top. Davey trying to get him around and knot this ball game up. Geronimo is in on the on-deck circle to hit for pitcher Pedro Bourbon. Davey leveling the bat. Garman stretches and delivers. Swung on and hit off the end of the bat. A curveball. Over to the Cincinnati dugout, strike 2. So Mike Garman trying to get it together after allowing a base hit to Johnny Bench, the first man he faced. He got Henderson on a fly to center, and he's ahead 0-2 on the Red shortstop. Montreal 3, Cincinnati 1. Foster homer to begin the ninth. Here's a pitch. Swung on and bounced to third. Diving stop by Parrish. He throws to second. They get the force out at second base, and that's all. Fine play by Larry Parrish. Boy, I'll tell you, that was a major league play as he dove to his left and from a kneeling position threw down to Frias to get a force on Dave Collins. Parrish might be shaken up. The Montreal trainer coming out to look him over. Dreesen has moved to third, and Concepcion is on to the fielder's choice at first base. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. This is
Follow the exciting Cincinnati Reds action in 1978 on FM 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
Well, the Reds are down to their final out. Larry Parrish is all right. He stays in there. And Geronimo will be the batter. Cesar hitting .246 with 5 homers and 22 RBIs as a pinch hitter this season. He has gone 4 for 5. Oh, we need a hit to keep it going, at least a base hit, with number 14 on deck. Dreesen now at third, Concepcion at first. There's a throw to first, and they almost picked him off. Well, that's the last thing in the world we need now. It's already happened one time tonight. Davey getting himself together, calling time momentarily with umpire Joe West now getting the lead at first base. Garman ready with a pitch to Geronimo. He delivers. Davey runs. Pitch is swung on and hit in the air to center field. Coming in is Dawson. He calls for it, and he makes a catch to end the game. In the ninth inning, Cincinnati gets 1 run on 2 hits. No errors and 2 left. Mike Garman coming on to pick up a save for young Hal Dews. And the final score tonight, the Expos 3 and the Reds 1. We'll be back in just a moment.
Cool it when the sun's up high. Cool it when the sun's down low. When it's too dark hot and you're cooking really nice. Cool it the Crawford Nichols way.
Yes, everyone's doing it. Cooling it, that is, with Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling and Lennox Air Conditioning. No need to be hot and bothered over summer's heat and humidity. Lennox Air Conditioning lets the whole clan be relaxed and happy at home. And a wise father knows that central air conditioning adds to the value of his home. And to make sure you stay cool, Crawford Nichols is on the job with emergency service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Get your free air conditioning estimate today. Just call Crawford Nichols and say, cool it.
Now you can cool it with Crawford Nichols, that's the way.
876-1234.
Reds trying to rally in the bottom of the ninth inning, but Mike Garman denied him that privilege. After giving up the single to Johnny Bench, he was able to retire the last couple of hitters to preserve for Hal Dews a 3-1 Montreal victory. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 5 left on for the Expos, while the Reds had a run on 6 base hits. They committed 1 error and stranded 8. Dews squares his record at 4-4, with Garman picking up his 7th save, and the defeat goes to hard luck Tom Seaver, who is now a .500 pitcher. He has won 9 and lost 9. The Reds failing to gain ground on the San Francisco Giants, who lost this afternoon to the Chicago Cubs 7-6 in 11 innings. So the Reds remain 2.5 games back of the G-men, and pending the outcome of the Dodger-Pittsburgh game at Three River Stadium, if the Dodgers win, they will move into second place, 2 back of the Giants. If the Pirates can come back and win, and they were 4 down at last count, they would remain 2.5 or 3 games out of first place. This concludes a homestand. The Reds will now be on the road for 8 ball games. They'll be kicking off a 2-game set against Danny Ozark's Eastern Division leading Phillies at Veterans Stadium tomorrow night. In the 7:35 beginning, it'll be right-hander Paul Moscow on the mound for Cincinnati. 1 win and 2 losses on the year. And for the Phillies, another veteran outstanding pitcher who's had a bit of a rough go of it this season, left-hander Steve Carlton, who will enter the game with a record of 8-8. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows on most of these same stations, beginning at 7:05 Cincinnati time. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. Now, on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Joe Nuxhall with the Star of the Game show. Once again, the final tonight, the Expos 3 and the Reds 1.
The Reds on Radio with Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxhall. The 1978 Cincinnati Reds have been brought to you by the Stroh Brewery Company. Stroh's, from one sports lover to another. And by your local Marathon full-service dealers and distributors. By the makers of Red Fox chewing tobacco. With Red Fox, taking it easy never tasted so good.
Also by Grange Mutual, your partners in protection. BJ Industries, the new sash distributors for Central Ohio. Crawford Nichols, the heating and cooling experts. And the WRMZ Sports Department.
Follow the Cincinnati Reds and tune in next time for the Reds on Radio on this, the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. This is the voice of the Cincinnati Reds for Central Ohio. Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
Imagine this. You're standing in front of a house built from only new sash windows and one new sash door. Now let's go inside and experience new sash quiet. The new sash quiet came from the perfect custom fit and the exclusive thermopane with its half-inch dead air space. Reducing outside noise is only part of the new sash story, eliminating the draft, the freezing winter wind, or the boiling summer air. The outside stays out because of the perfect new sash fit. For you, this means lower fuel bills, up to 30% lower. It makes dollars and cents to replace your worn-out windows and replace them with new sash, the original replacement window. For more information, call New Sash Collect, 267-8396. Your new sash windows also tilled in for easy cleaning and for enjoying the fresh spring and fall air. Ah.
It's time now for Joe Nuxhall and the Star of the Game on Reds 100 WRMZ.
We're back in the dugout here at Riverfront, where the Expos have beaten the Reds tonight by a score of 3-1 behind Hal Dews and, of course, Darrell Knowles and Mike Garman. Our star of the game tonight drove in 2 of those 3 runs with 2 base hits, or 3 base hits, a double to drive in 1, and his 15th home run of the year in the 8th inning. We're talking the center fielder for the Montreal Expos, Andre Dawson. We'll be back with Andre after this word.
Here's some straight talk from Heathkit Electronics at 2500 Morse Road. Heathkit is the largest manufacturer of electronic kits, not toys, but high-quality units that compare with the finest made. Heathkit features a full line of audio components, the finest television to be found anywhere, full line of amateur radio equipment, test equipment and instrumentation for the service, bench, and lab, PA systems, instrument amplifiers, and speaker systems, and automobile accessories from digital clocks to service test equipment. And for the boating buff, Heathkit carries radio telephones, fish spotters, direction finders, and depth sounders. Heathkit at 2500 Morse Road, opens Tuesday through Saturday at 9:30. Call 475-7200 and order your free catalog. Tell them WRMZ sent you. That's 475-7200. Heathkit.
Andre Dawson, our star of the game tonight, and as we mentioned, Andre with 3 hits and 4 times up, drove in 2 runs, and his 15th home run of the year. And Andre, big ball game for you and the ball club tonight.
Yes, we needed this one very bad. We've been finding just about all kind of ways to lose lately, and we've been struggling somewhat, but we needed this game bad, and we held on to it, as you can see at the end, and we won it.
Andre, the home run, of course, in the 8th inning, a big run for your ball club, and coming off a youngster that I would assume you've never faced before, Mike Lacoste, where it looked like he got a pretty good pitch to hit.
Well, I did face Lacoste in Double-A ball, but I hadn't seen him in about a year and a half, and I forgot entirely what he had thrown. But I do remember that he had the big breaking ball, and he got ahead in the count, and I don't think he hung the ball. It was a good pitch, but it was out over the plate.
Just where you like it. As I said, if you're a pitcher, you hate to see that pitch go up there, and if you're a batter, you hate to miss it.
That's right. And I got around on it pretty good and got the bat head on it. The ball was starting to tail at the end, but it stayed fair, and I'm sorry that's the way you had to break in.
Andre, for yourself, this has been a big series for you. You had 6 hits in the 2 games, and I would assume that you have to feel that things are starting to turn for you.
Right. I was not pressing, but I was struggling very much during the first half of the season, and I made a vow, and I prayed a lot that I was going to just go out and give it 100%, and what happens, happens. And I do think this is going to be an entirely different second half, and like I said, I'm just going to go out and try and play up to the best of my ability.
Andre Dawson, our star of the game. We'll be back with more after this word.
Here's something to think about. Your Grange agent can get lots of things going for you. He or she will help you make friends with tomorrow. How? By looking ahead, 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, to the time when you want to get off the treadmill. Slow down a little. By the judicious use of Grange Life Insurance, you can look to those sunset years with anticipation rather than anguish. The Grange Lifeline includes individual retirement accounts, which can make you a $250,000 if you start early enough. A 25-year-old who invests $1,500 a year will retire at 65 with more than $260,000. So make friends with tomorrow through a Grange agent today. You'll find your partner in protection in the yellow pages under Grange Insurance.
Make friends with tomorrow. Grange Mutual to be sure.
Andre Dawson, our star of the game tonight. And Andre, as we talk about this ball game tonight, I think the young fellow that started the ball game for you and pitched very well through 6+ innings, Hal Dews, and I know we've remarked before that this youngster has quite a future in the major league.
Yes, he is the biggest blue chipper, I think, to come out of the minor league pitching staff, and he's thrown very well for us this year. When he has pitched, he hasn't given up too many runs and too many hits. He lost a few ball games in relief, and when we put him in the starting rotation, he proved to the skipper that he can get the job done. And for the last few weeks, that's what he's been doing, and we look for some pretty big games out of him, and I have the confidence in him, and I know the rest of the players do. And I think he's going to be another big plus to the ball club.
Andre, the ball club tonight, that's your 45th win. You're 45 and 48, but as we go into the second half, certainly I'm sure all of you people with the Expos can see some brighter things for the ball club.
Right. The ball club is still young in itself, and I don't think we have been playing outstanding baseball, but we've been playing, I'd say, some exciting baseball. And we're just asking the fans to bear with us. Once we get a little more experience and play the way we're capable of, then, we can play the type of baseball that they expect. But right now, we're still young. We have a few veterans in Tony Perez and David Cash that picks up most of the slack. And we look for them, when the time gets rough, and ask, we ask, their opinion of certain situations, and they're a very big aspect to the ball club. But I do feel that in years to come, we're going to be one of the top-notch ball clubs in the Eastern Division.
I guess when we talk about outfields throughout baseball, if they could find a better one than your ball club, with you in center, Ellison right, and of course Warren Cromartie in left field, throwing arms, defensive, in all aspects of defensive outfield play, I don't know where we'd go.
Well, when it comes to power hitting, I wouldn't say that we have the best, but we do have, I think, the best young outfield in all of baseball. We played together for a year in minor league ball. We played together last year, and we're playing together this year. We still undoubtedly have a lot to learn, and we'll be around a long time, and hopefully we'll all be together during that time. And like I said, we do have a young outfield, but, you know, there are plenty of others that are also around that gets the job done.
Well, Andre, we'll let you go. Once again, congratulations on a big night tonight and a big one last night.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
Andre Dawson, our star of the game tonight, and Andre with 3 hits, a double, a home run, drove in 2, and the Expos win it 3-1. That's it from here in the dugout. Now on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Marty Brenneman with scores and comments. Tomorrow night, the Reds hit the road. They'll be in Philadelphia against the Phillies. Until then, this is the old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Good night, everyone.
You've been in touch with the star of the game with your host, Joe Nuxall, on FM 100 WRMZ.
You want to buy some radios, but tires don't look the same. You've got to have good feeling. You've got to trust the name. You know our reputation. Remember what we said. When Sears is behind you, you come out ahead. We've got lots of tire centers where salesmen of this trade. So shop the Sears for radio. You're gonna come out great. No matter where you're going, remember what we said. When Sears is behind you, when Sears is behind you, when Sears is behind you, you come out ahead.
And now, scores and comments on WRMZ. And your host, Marty Brenneman.
Hello again, everybody, back at Riverfront, where the Montreal Expos administered to the Reds a 3-1 loss tonight, thereby snapping Cincinnati's 4-game winning streak, as Mike Garman came on to do the job in the 9th inning, and in so doing allowed his former club, the L.A. Dodgers, to move back into second place by 1/2 game over the now third-place Reds. The Dodgers trail the Giants by 2, and the Giants lead Cincinnati by 2.5 games. In the American League, we'll make it short and sweet. One final score. Baltimore beat Texas 5-1. Scott McGregor the winner, 10-8. Doc Ellis the loser, 8-5. 5 runs, 13 hits, and no errors for the Orioles, while Texas had a run on 7 hits, and they committed 1 error. The Chicago-Milwaukee game is now in the 8th inning at Milwaukee County Stadium, and behind the pitching of Jerry Augustine and the home run bats of Gorman Thomas and Don Money, Milwaukee leads Chicago 7-0. Thomas hit his 19th solo shot. Don Money also hit a solo home run, his 7th of the year. As Augustine strives for his 10th victory, Wilbur Wood was a Chicago starter. He came in with a record of 10-5. The other 3 games are all on the West Coast. Cleveland at California, where it'll be Rick Waite 6-10 for the Indians against Don Ossie 7-4. Detroit at Oakland, Dave Rosema against Rick Langford, and Seattle hosts Toronto. It'll be Dave LeManchick for the Blue Jays against Glenn Abbott. Again, the American League final, Baltimore defeats Texas by a final of 5-1, and we'll be back to take a look at the National League in just a moment.
You can trust Delco. Thanks, Delco. Delco shocks for quality.
Trust Delco to beat the bumps. Delco shock absorbers are bigger than ordinary 1-inch shocks. They have 59% more shock capacity. And for even more muscle, pick Delco heavy-duty shocks or Delco spring lift and airlift shocks. They'll help keep you on the level with firm control for whatever you're driving.
You can trust Delco.
Thanks, Delco.
Delco shocks for quality. Delco shocks for quality.
I'm chewing gum again. Big deal? It is to me. I had to give up gum because it stuck to my dental work. But with Freedent gum from Wrigley's, I can enjoy chewing gum again. It doesn't stick. Fact is, until I found Freedent, I'd forgotten how fresh and clean my mouth and breath could feel anytime. Freedent in peppermint and spearmint. You'll like it.
Feel free to chew Freedent.
It won't stick to most dental work.
Freedent gum.
Turning now to the National League, the Chicago Cubs defeated the San Francisco Giants with a run in the bottom of the 11th at Wrigley Field this afternoon, 7-6. It made a winning pitcher out of Cub ace relief pitcher Bruce Sutter. He's 7-3, and a loser of right-hander Charlie Williams, 1-2. 1 home run, San Francisco's Mike Sadek hit his second of the year. 7 runs, 11 hits, an error for the Cubs, while San Francisco had 6 runs on 11 hits, and they committed 2 errors. Tonight at Pittsburgh, Don Sutton had his 200th career victory. His pitching and the offensive support of Joe Ferguson and Ron Cey, who powered home runs, defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates 7-2. Sutton, in winning for the 200th time in the big leagues, runs his seasonal record to 10-8, while the loss was pinned on Pirate right-hander Don Robinson. He's 5-4. Ferguson had a big blow, a 3-run home run, his 10th of the year, in a 5-run Dodger 4th inning. Ron Cey later added a 9th-inning solo homer, his 12th, while Dave Parker hit his 14th for Pittsburgh. 7-11-0, the winning Dodger numbers, while Pittsburgh had 2 runs on 6 hits and committed 1 error. In the bottom of the 9th inning in Atlanta, the Mets and the Braves are all knotted up at 3 runs apiece. Dale Murphy, as we mentioned earlier, continued his torrid long ball hitting. He hit his 15th of the year tonight with 1 on. That is his 6th home run in the last 6 games. And at the end of 8.5 innings of play again, it's the Mets 3 and the Atlanta Braves 3. Through 4.5 innings in Houston, the Astros hold a 5-1 lead over the Philadelphia Phillies. Houston has scored in every inning. And they've got J.R. Richard on the mound against Jim Lonborg. And finally in the National League, at the end of 7 in St. Louis, the Padres, with Eric Rasmussen on the mound, lead Pete Vukovich and the St. Louis Cardinals 3-1. Once again, the final scores from National League play this afternoon. The Cubs in 11 defeated the Giants 7-6. Tonight, Don Sutton gets his 200th career victory as the Dodgers defeat Pittsburgh 7-2. We'll be back to recap the Expos' victory over Cincinnati. That coming up in just a moment.
In the latter part of the 20th century, a medication was created that killed jock itch fungus on contact. This medication is found in Aptate for jock itch in the bright green box. Aptate relieves burning, itching, chafing. Aptate for jock itch, with the medication that kills jock itch fungus on contact. Also look for Aptate for athlete's foot, the killer in the bright red package, for occasional use only as directed.
40, love.
Smashing.
How's she playing?
No, how she looks. In action-proof eye makeup from Maybelline. Like ultra-big, ultra-lash mascara. Smear-proof, smudge-proof, waterproof. So longest-looking lashes stay in the thick of the action.
Game, set, and match.
Action-proof.
Keeps you looking good after the action, too.
Ultra-big, ultra-lash mascara. Incredibly long-looking lashes without flaky fibers. From Maybelline.
Smashing.
Montreal won at 3-1 tonight. They scored single runs in the 3rd inning, the 6th inning, and the 8th inning. They got a run in the 3rd through an error by Tom Seaver after Tom had struck out Gary Carter and Chris Spire. Pitcher Hal Dews hit a hard one-hopper that momentarily handcuffed Danny Dreesen at first base. Seaver came over to cover the bag. Dreesen's throw was mishandled by Seaver. The throw just a bit high, but Tom could not hang on to it, and Dews was on with 2 away. Dave Cash then proceeded to walk on 4 pitches, and Andre Dawson hammered a double off the boards in right center, getting Dews in to give Montreal a 1-0 lead. In the 6th inning, Dawson led off with a base hit. He was picked off by Seaver, but then Ballantyne doubled to right center. He moved to third on a wild pitch, and after Perez grounded out, Larry Parrish got a base on balls, and Warren Cromartie single past the diving Joe Morgan, getting Ballantyne in to give Montreal a 2-0 lead. The 7th inning, the Reds threatened in a big way, but we'll never know how that might have turned out because of a pickoff of Rick Auerbach, who had come on to run for Mike Lum. Darrell Knowles had entered the game in relief of Dews with the bases loaded following the walk to Lum. Auerbach came on to run, and Knowles never threw a pitch to Pete Rose. He simply fired to Tony Perez to pick Auerbach off at first, and that ended the 7th inning. Previous to that, Bench had had an infield hit with 1 out, and 2 outs later, Davey Concepcion drove a double to right center before Lum hitting for Seaver got the walk. Auerbach came in to run, and Knowles promptly picked him off. The Reds were out in order in the 8th inning, but in the top of the 8th, Andre Dawson, leading off against Mike Lacasse, who was making his first Major League appearance, hit a line drive home run over the left field wall to give Montreal a 3-0 lead. In the bottom of the 9th inning, George Foster led off against Knowles and hammered a home run to straightaway center, giving Foster not only leadership in the National League in homers with 22, but allowing him to regain the front-running spot in RBIs with a total of 72 on the year. After that, Danny Dreesen got a base on balls, and at that point, Mike Garman came on to face Johnny Bench. John promptly grounded one into center field with Dreesen moving on to second, and it looked like the Reds were going to have one of their big late-inning rallies to pull it out. But Garman got his act together, inducing Henderson to fly to center. Concepcion hit a smash wide at third, but Parrish made a nice play, and from his knees threw out pinch runner Dave Collins at second base. And then with 2 down and runners at first and third, Geronimo, batting for Bourbon, hit the first pitch to center field, and Dawson caught it for the game-ending out. The Expos had 3 runs on 8 hits, errorless ball with 5 left, while the Reds had a run on 6 base hits with an error, and they left 8 men on base. Dews evens his record at 4-4. Garman chalks up his 7th save, and Seaver now has slipped to 9 wins and 9 losses. Tomorrow night, the Reds will kick off an 8-game road trip in the first of a 2-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies, and the starting pitchers, Steve Carlton, will be on the mound at games beginning for the Phillies. He has won 8 and lost 8 this season, and for the Reds, it'll be right-hander Paul Moscow entering the game with a record of 1-2. Hope you'll join us along the Reds Baseball Network line, because we'll be joining you with the pregame shows on most of these same stations beginning at 7:05 Cincinnati time. Again, the final score tonight in a game that took 2 hours and 23 minutes to play before a crowd of 43,971. The Expos 3 and the Reds 1. Until tomorrow night from Philadelphia, for Joe Nuxall, this is Marty Brenneman saying so long, everybody.